Us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Businesses are struggling right now, which means a lot of good workers are being laid off. If this has happened to you, contact your employer and ask them to look into the Missouri Department of Labor's Shared Work Program at sharedwork.mo.gov.
It's always smart to shop at Diamonds Direct, but right now it's smarter than ever with 5 years, 0 interest financing and no money down on any purchase. No kidding, it's the best offer ever. Keep your money and finance the entire purchase, even the tax, for 5 years without paying a dime in interest. Get a $10,000 certified diamond for only $168 a month. It's definitely the smart way to buy, so don't miss it. On approved credit, details at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Olive in 270 at City Place.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Update your outdoor living area with Mastercraft General Purpose Concrete Mix. It's perfect for sidewalks, floors, steps, patios, and curbs. Just add water and mix. Right now, all concrete mixes are 11% off. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through September 11th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
There's a music station customized to your taste. Download the Odyssey app and browse the stations for your perfect fit. Brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar. On the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Hi, guys. How's it going? Annie Frey here, back in studio. Now, I've had a lot of things going on in my life since the last time that I was standing in this position, but I've been gone for a few months here because I had a baby. And I talked to Mark Reardon on Friday to come back into studio. He asked, "Am we really coming back on Tuesday?" I said, yes. And I said, when you have your fourth baby, people see you with a baby and they go, "Oh, she's so cute. Is this your first?" And they're just like overjoyed with the little squishy babiness of everything. And then you say, "Oh no, actually, she's my fourth." And this wave of pity comes over people. They feel actively sorry for you. They're like, "Oh, fourth." Like there's this sympathy, maybe empathy coming from people. And it's like, it's my fourth child, not your fourth child. You do not have 4 kids that you didn't. This was an active decision. We are very fulfilled and blessed. Molly is fantastic, but I am back here now with you on 97.1 FM Talk from noon to 3. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me in this time that I have been out, because there is something about, you've heard these stories, maybe even from the other side of the aisle, about what women need and how they are, they don't have the same rights as other people, and childbearing causes you to bear a bigger burden. Yeah, it actually does. Childbearing is a female thing that you have to bear and, live through and accept the responsibilities of everything, comes with the emotions behind it. But guess what? I'm also a working woman who absolutely loves my job, absolutely loves that I get to talk to you on a daily basis. And that is a very, very hard thing to balance. But I'm back. I am happy to be here. How many people have asked me, "Annie, how's it feel to be back? Are you okay? How's Molly? How are things going?" I am way more off kilter a little bit because I have not been broadcasting in the studio for 18 months. 18 whole months. During the entire pandemic, March, Lord Pritzker shuts down the state of Illinois. I think we're still like shut down or something, right? We're going to be talking a lot about that here in the coming days. I went home in March of 2020, and I have not broadcast a show from the studio since then. There's some people in the room right now. There's a lot of things that have changed in the last 3 months, at least so I've heard. There's been some personnel changes, and we are going to have in the 2 p.m. hour a big reveal of what that is going to entail, what that is all about. And I'll tell you, we stream live on the Annie Frey Show Facebook. We stream live on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And if you happen to tune in there, then you might get a little tip off of some people who are going to be involved in the show here going forward. I am so excited to bring that information to you here later in the show, but you're going to have to stick around to hear it. Ryan Wiggins in. Ryan, this is your hour. Do you feel like I'm horning in on your space here? Do you need me to leave, take a bathroom break or something?
I do. If you wouldn't mind. Yeah, like this is my spot, Annie. I don't know if you realize that.
Is this awkward for you?
I'm just standing here like I'm supposed to be saying all those things. You're taking the words right out of my mouth.
I
have 4 children. I had a baby.
How was it?
It was weird at first because, like you said, it's not just been the last 3 months. It's been 18 months
since we've been standing
since you and I have been doing this right here. Aside from a very, very brief, like 1 minute appearance, I think at one point. But it's weird beyond just the last 3 months because at first it was talking to different hosts, and the host, as you know, if you were listening, it was a host cavalcade for 2 months. And then we finally said, okay, for the last month, here's what it's going to be. It's going to be Ryan for an hour. It's going to be Dana for 2 hours. So we kind of got into that rhythm. And now, as you said before, you're having to get back into a new rhythm. Everybody around you is. So
it's weird.
It's weird.
Ryan, Chris on our Facebook Live right now says Ryan definitely did more than keep the boat on course while you were out. He did a great job. So we're going to ban Chris here from the Facebook Live.
Yeah, and then ban me.
Chris, I'm sorry that it had to end this way. No, I mean, literally every day that you were filling in, people saying Ryan's doing a great job. I have to personally thank you for doing that.
Well, thank you. And I'll tease this. Since we're teasing 2 o'clock hours, big announcements, I'm going to make an announcement, which you probably already know what it is, but I'm going to make...
there are a lot of things that could be announced. There are a lot of things going on in the background. No, I have...
A little behind the scenes in radio.
No idea where this is going with Ryan, which makes me feel right at home.
Yeah. So a lot of things will happen behind the scenes, especially when you're in news and talk, because it just happens so fast that somebody will say, okay, that's what it is. And you go, okay, are you sure? And then they're already down the hallway. And you don't really know if you're allowed to announce it. So I'm just going to announce it at 12:45.
Hurry, 12:45.
Yeah. So we'll do lots of announcements today.
Excuse me, executive producer. That's called a tease, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a great tease, by the way.
Great tease. People are learning. You know, I feel like I have been a civilian for the last 3 months. If you take a long enough vacation, for me, it's a week minimum. I need 2 weekends. I need a week in the middle to say, yeah, I'm going to put my phone down. I'm not really going to go on Twitter. Folks, at Annie Frey Show, if you are looking for some really hot takes at like 1:30 in the morning, follow me on Twitter. That's when I tweet because I cannot sleep. It takes me about a week, maybe 3 days, knowing that I have at least 3 more days in the future to say, yeah, I'm going to let go of this and I'm going to focus solely on my kids, or I'm going to focus solely on some things that I need to do around the house, or if I'm on vacation, whatever. I have had the opportunity to do that. I have had the blessing with the birth of my 4th child, Molly, who you will hear things about. I've had the opportunity to take in life and the world through what I would call a civilian's eyes. And I mean that in the sense just like you take it in. When you're listening to this radio show, it's the noon hour. You're probably on lunch right now. And you're like, oh, that one chick's back on at noon. I'll see what she has to say about things. This is the way that I have been able to take in what's been going on in the last 3 months. And it is an incredibly different experience than being steeped in the daily news, as a parent, I'll use this word, bickering back and forth amongst all of the interested parties who are out there clamoring for your attention, first and foremost, your attention. And if you got something really great to say, but you are not able to get somebody's attention, then what's the point of saying it? It's a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it. Doesn't make a sound. Man, there's so much noise out there right now. You know what we're missing? In every context or in every story, in every issue, we're missing context. And the goal of every communicator that is out there right now who is clamoring for your attention, and you know what? I'm probably one of those people. Of course I am. My job is to make you want to listen to this show. I plead with you to listen to this show and welcome you back if you haven't been here. But again, I've heard so many people that have supported the show actively, supported Ryan and enjoyed Dana's show, which has been on from 1 to 3 and will continue to be on 8 to 10.
Yeah, still here.
On 97.1. So if you've loved that, you will still continue to get that from 8 to 10 right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Nobody cares about context. And context, take any issue, take any statement. Context is what you have to figure out yourself. That requires work and effort on your part. And when you are a civilian, which most of you are, which I have had the pleasure of being for the last 3 months, it takes work and effort to understand the context around any article, around any headline, around any quote, any video, anything. And how many of you are so sick and tired of the noise, of the clamoring for attention, of the pleading for the political power that those folks are going to get because they got your retweet, they got your comment, they got your like, your reaction. It's currency. And it is so important for these people to feed you exactly what you need to know, just the slice, the sliver of what you need to know, so you don't have to put in any of the extra work to find out where the truth is, where this statement, this headline that has been presented to you, the interested party, the person who cares about your family, you care about your freedom, your liberty, you care about your country. They don't want you to find the context. They want you to just take, and this is at the very epicenter of a bipartisan problem. There are people on both sides who are advocating for you to just take their word for it. And in the last 3 months of civilian life for me, where I'm, people say, Carl's in here running the board, Ryan's in here with me. When you're a parent, people will be like, oh, if you're a new parent, they're like, oh, I don't want to bother you. I know you're busy. You're a really weird kind of busy because you're actually not doing anything. Your entire life revolves around the idea of making this thing not cry. That's really it.
Yeah,
for a very long time.
You're bored and exhausted.
With your phone in your hands.
Yes.
You had twins. So like double bored and double exhausted. And the entire predicate of what your daily job is please don't cry. Just please don't cry. You could be happy. You could be awake. You could be sleeping. You could be hungry. I can change your diaper. But if I've done those things and you're still crying, oh, then I'm busy. But that's a small amount of time, hopefully, compared to the rest of the time where you're just hanging out with this new person who relies on you for everything. Little footnote here. The child that you bring into the world cannot live on its own. It needs your help to survive, which I find to be ironically similar to the same baby who maybe 5 minutes ago was in your womb. But I digress. When you're sitting around and you're taking care of this new life that you've created, you're not like the kind of busy that we were for the hour preceding this show, where you're like throwing papers all around and you're asking, where's this person? Why does this computer not work? Where do I plug this thing in? That's a busy where I can't communicate with somebody.
Because it's all instinct. You're doing everything by instinct and it's all natural, so you don't have to use your brain.
Yeah.
So that's why it's boring and exhausting.
So you sit there, you watch the news. You watch, what's some trash TV that you watch? Do you watch any trash TV?
Not really. I watch very, very intellectual things only.
Oh, gosh. Like Adult Swim?
Probably. I can't think of the last trashy junk I watched. I actually put Marvel movies in that category for me. Yeah. Like that's mindless TV for me.
I mean, it's not trash, but I'm the same way. Like there are a lot of things that I give my attention to that are not stimulating my mind, but that's the break.
Right.
The context that people are not given is your responsibility to seek out. And when you don't seek it out, it gets really scary in a time like right now to even flip on the news, to scroll through Twitter, to get the message from your friend who wants you to do this and make sure you get this done. I can't associate with you if you don't take this course of actions, or if you take these course of actions, I can't trust. Like, it has infiltrated our human interaction with people who we've known our entire lives, who we care about, who we love, who we have blood relation to, and it's taking precedence. That's what they want. And that's what we have to stop. But I come on here and talk about Joe Biden right now and the bang up job that he is doing right now in this administration. Could I come up here and talk about the Texas abortion case? Could I talk about critical race theory? Could I talk about the governor reelection? Could I talk about 2020? There's a million things that I can talk to you about right now, but there's one thing that I want you to understand. When you tune in 97.1 FM Talk from noon to 3, you're going to get the context. You're going to have the right, as you should, and the ability to hear what we say and put your own theory on it. I don't think for you. I'm not here to tell you how to act, what to do. I'm going to tell you what's important the way I see it. I'm going to give you a dose of my perspective, and your perspective is just as welcome here as mine is. There's a ton of noise out there right now. There are a ton of people right now who are clamoring for your attention. And remember, if the end goal of that is just to get your attention, they don't care if you love it or if you hate it. They just want to be the noisiest people in the room, and they want to have you show up to have that itch scratched every day that they want to continue to keep agitating you with. As a civilian myself, I didn't have time for it. As the host of this show, I'm not going to make you go through that. I've got a lot to say about a lot of things, and I want to have that conversation with you every day here, noon to 3. And your presence here, when you tune into 97.1 FM Talk, your presence here is what makes this radio station great, what makes me feel so lucky to leave my 3-month-old baby at home to come to work and have that conversation with you so that we can talk about these things, because this is important. And it's hard to do that as a new mom. But it's important for me to have this platform, to push this conversation going forward for Molly, for her future. Because if we're not going to talk about these things here in a way where anybody's perspective feels welcome, and this discussion is at the center, the most important thing that we can do on a daily basis is address these issues without feeling like we want to kill each other at the end of it, then we're done. We're toast. And that's not what's best for Molly. So let's have that conversation. Thank you for being here. Ryan, thank you so much for picking up the slack and everything that was thrown at you over the last 3 months. It was hard for me these last 3 months, but I know it was hard for you in a completely different capacity. And the listeners have been so grateful. I have been so grateful. And I'm very excited. At 12:45, Ryan has demanded his own time.
Yes. If you tune out, we will know, and we will come hunt you down and tell you in person.
No, actually, Ryan will.
I will.
And I will just replace that segment.
That's fine. And all the things that Annie was talking about that we're not going to do, I'm going to do that stuff.
At 12:45, we're going to condense it into one segment so that you still get a little bit of it, but it comes from Ryan, and if it sucks, it's not the end of our show. There you go. Is that good?
Kick me out. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, my friend and your familiar friend, Stephen Moore, is going to join us. Unemployment benefits. I predict that the unemployment rate is going to sink drastically, and Joe Biden's going to get credit for filling a lot of jobs because he took away their unemployment benefits and they needed to make their bills somehow or another. Let's ask Stephen more about that in just a second. Stream us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, Annie Frey Show Facebook, and there's this thing called Twitch. We're trying it out. You can go there, but I don't know what I'm doing. We'll be back with Stephen Moore in just a second. Don't go away.
best brisket you've ever tasted from grillmastertony.com. Well, now you can get that same delicious brisket shipped directly to your house anywhere in the continental United States. What a great gift idea. Tony personally selects that brisket. He smokes it. He rests it in the way only Tony can. Tony also caters all of his delicious foods as well. Find out more and order today online at grillmastertony.com.
Take a moment and rate your lifestyle on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is a life that's nothing like the life you were promised after getting good grades, a college degree, and a good job in corporate America. 10 is the life of your dreams. If you answered anything less than a 10, tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Weeknights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So I want to talk to you about Stewart's American Mortgage, some personal news that I know that you're like, when you're thinking about all of the things that, what did Annie do over her last 3 months? One of the things I did was I did a refinance again. Isn't that exciting, folks? Aren't you really excited to hear that? I had already done one with Stewie, but rates have gone down even more since I originally did it in 2019. And I called him and I said, Stewie, are these rates low enough that I should want to do this again and lock this in? And I told him, I was like, I'd like to, take some equity out of my house because everybody's home equity has gone up significantly right now. Want to do some additions to the house. He ran the numbers for me. It was astronomical, the amount of money that I'm saving. I'm just telling you my personal story. I lowered my interest rate by like 0.5%. And here's the other thing. My credit score went up almost 50 points after all was said and done. It was an incredible experience. When you do the bagel loan with Stewart's American Mortgage, there are no closing costs. So when I went back and did this again, guess what? It didn't cost me any money. It saved me money. It saved me on my interest rate. And as I said, my personal credit score went up 50 points after doing it. And it's good credit score right now, I might add. Call Stewie today if you are interested in your situation. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. My friend Stewie, highly recommend him. Personally used it myself. NMLS number 226715.
Hi, Sean Long for STL Fenceworks. We're celebrating 50 years in business. In 1971, my parents, Russ and Carolyn Long, started this business. Their vision: offer quality products with next-level service affordably. STL Fenceworks is celebrating this milestone with the STL 50 promo. For a limited time, to qualified customers, we're offering $1,500 off all Wolf maintenance-free decks or custom leisure space projects, and $500 off all vinyl, steel, and aluminum fence projects. Let us build your dream Wolf maintenance-free deck with exquisite black railing and accent lighting. Or imagine a breathtaking leisure room designed and constructed to meet your needs and complementing your lifestyle. Save $1,500. And our maintenance-free fence options equal fun and safety for your pets while you enjoy $500 off. Visit stlfenceworks.com and learn more about our STL 50 promo today. 50 years of meeting and exceeding your expectations. At STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction has been and continues to be our passion.
Keeping you connected with news, entertainment, and information with perspective. It's all here. St. Louis's own 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Hey folks, welcome back. It is the Annie Frey Show. I am not Ryan Wiggins. I am in fact Annie Frey. I've been gone for 3 months, but I am back and I am so happy to be here. Thank you for tuning in to 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, we're streaming live on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We are streaming live on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, and we are about to talk to one of my favorite guests who I have missed dearly. Nothing has been going on. What would we ever talk about? It is Stephen Moore. Welcome back to the show, Stephen. It is great to have you here. I'm so glad to be talking to you.
Hi, Addie. It's great to hear your voice, and boy, I'm sure you say that to all your guests. So, but it's fantastic to be back with you. We missed you, and and I hope that your baby is healthy and happy and all of that. So congratulations on the new member of your family.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You were, in fact, my first guest back on the show. So I haven't said that to anybody. You were the first. I'm seeing these stories out there, Stephen, about unemployment benefits going away.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how much credit Joe Biden is about to get for the unemployment rate just cratering now as all these people hopefully go back to work. What's the story on this?
So Friday we had a jobs report that came out that was a bit disappointing. We didn't get nearly the number of jobs we had all hoped for. It wasn't a terrible report. It was in the right direction. But we have this strange situation right now. We have about 10 million job openings in the country. 10 million. That's twice as many people in the entire workforce of the state of Michigan, to give you a sense of how many jobs that is. And yet we still have 8 million unemployed people. And we're having a hard time getting the unemployed people into the jobs that are out there. There was another survey that came out late last week that found that half of all small businesses, say they don't have workers. They don't have the workers that they need. So it's a real dire situation, especially for the small businesses. And yes, you're right. Today is effectively the first day that people will no longer get these extended unemployment benefits and expanded unemployment benefits. And by the way, I believe that was one of the greatest mistakes our country has made in a long time, is paying people not to work. So now we will see if now that those extra benefits have gone away, whether we actually get more people working. I think the answer to that is yes. But Annie, we've also expanded the food stamp benefits. We're sending people free money, free checks. We're saying you don't have to pay your rent. You don't have to do this. So there's still a huge amount of welfare payments that are out there for people that are allowing them to stay off the job.
Yeah. Everybody sees this. It's all you have to do is go to your local Dairy Queen or whatever it is and find out that they don't have seating inside. They don't have, it takes forever to get through the drive-through. And it's frustrating as a consumer because you're like, I just wanted a peanut butter parfait and I got to wait 10 minutes to get it because there's not enough staff in there. It's not the people who showed up to work. It's not their fault. But this has got to have some sort of ripple effect into the future. I mean, not having full staff, not being able to pull in the income. I mean, does this have long-term effects on these small businesses right now who are doing everything they can just to make it?
Well, first of all, you're so right in everything you just said. And I was thinking when you were talking that, there was a report that came out in the Wall Street Journal on the news side, not the editorial side. I used to work, as you know, on the editorial board, but this was a news story and said, there's no evidence that these expanded unemployment benefits have kept people out of the workforce. I'm like, really? Why don't you people get out of your, according to two university professors, right? It's like, why don't they get out of their ivory towers and go talk to employers, talk to people who own businesses. They'll find just the opposite, but it's a typical example of how government makes up these statistics. And so the good news is I do think that small businesses are going to have an easier time getting people back on the job. But we got rid of all the work requirements. Used to be if you were going to get food stamps and all these other benefits, you had to be at least looking for a job. And if you got a job offer, you'd have to take it. We've gotten rid of those. So I think you're still going to have a lot of people sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. You change people's culture. I was just talking to a friend the other day was talking about their small business, and they've got people coming in and interviewing and literally saying, I make $19.50 an hour to sit at home and do nothing. And I quickly corrected, no, you take $19.50 an hour to come home. Somebody else is making that $19.50 for you to take it sitting on your duff. But how can you blame these people who have been, the carrot has been permanently placed in front of them? And here we have Congress and Biden, maybe not Congress, wanting to spend an enormous amount of money on things that are going to continue this type of lifestyle.
Well, exactly. And by the way, I don't know if I'm sure you didn't, because you don't have to read the New York Times every day, but I do, just to see what the other side is saying. And there is a front page story, and I'll give them credit for the editors for putting the right headline on the story. It said, Biden wants cradle to grave government. And he does. And this $4.5 trillion package that they're trying to smash through Congress right now, it is going to change our relationship with the government. Is going to be the nanny state. It's going to take care of you. If you can't pay your rent, we'll pay your rent. If you don't have enough food to put on the table, we'll pay for that. If you can't find a job, we'll pay you to stay unemployed. Blah, blah, we'll send you money. The more kids you have, the more money we'll send you. All of this stuff, free childcare, free daycare. If you didn't pay your student loan, the government's going to pay it off for you. By the way, my wife, she is hardly rich, and she was hardly rich. She came from a pretty lower middle class family, and she had to pay for her college at UCLA through student loans. And for the next 15 years, she paid off her loan. And now she's pissed off because all these other deadbeats who didn't pay off their loans, now she has to pay taxes to pay for the loans they never paid off. I mean, it's craziness what is happening in Washington right now. We are punishing virtue, and we are rewarding vice.
That's such a fantastic point. Stephen Moore joining us right now, senior economic contributor at Freedom Works. You were very familiar with him here on the show, and we see your face on Fox News and your articles that you post and on Twitter. I am watching, as I referred to myself in the first segment, I've been kind of a civilian for the last 3 months. I haven't been 100% inundated with news. And it's interesting how you can turn off what's going on in the world. And still, I noticed it affects my life. I notice these things in just my day-to-day when I'm not trying to take in the news cycle. I remember when Joe Biden was elected, and I remember how active you were in supporting Donald Trump. But when Joe Biden was elected, you said on this show specifically, you hope he's good for the country. You said you wish him well. You talked about him, potentially not being as far left as some of the cohorts who might have been behind supporting him. We're not a year into this thing yet. What's your assessment here right after Labor Day?
Well, I think everybody's extremely disappointed. I mean, aren't you?
Incredibly. I asked the question on Twitter. Is it better or is it worse than you thought it was going to be, or did you know it was going to be this bad? And a lot of people think it's worse.
Much worse. I actually took him for his word. I thought he would be more of a centrist, moderate Democrat, like Bill Clinton was. And I didn't agree with a lot of things Clinton did, but he did some good stuff for the economy. We did welfare reform. We did the capital gains tax cut, and we balanced the budget. This president came in, and he started talking to these presidential historians, and he asked them, what do I have to do to be great? You know what they told him? Spend money, borrow money, just, spend and spend, grow the government. That's how you're going to be great, because that's what university professors think. And so he's adopted that. It's been a catastrophe. Obviously, we're all heartbroken over the total debacle of Afghanistan, which makes us so much less safe as a country. And then on the domestic front, we've got runaway inflation right now. We've got a border that's not secure. We've got all these people collecting government benefits. He wants to borrow $4.5 trillion more, which will send our debt into the stratosphere. I mean, somebody out there tell me something he's done right. Yeah. He said he was going to control the virus. How's he done on that front?
Yeah, it's not been good. It's all around. Feels like it's been worse than you kind of brace yourself when your guy doesn't win. It feels worse than that.
I want to I've asked my Democrat friends, and everybody wants, if you root for somebody, you want them to do well, and if you vote for somebody, you don't want to be proven wrong. But I tell you, I talked to a lot of my Democratic friends who just are rolling their eyes, saying, "Oh my God, how is it that he can get everything wrong?" And it's hard to point to any successes. Now the economy is doing well, notwithstanding what we were talking about, but for the most part, that's because of the vaccine. The vaccine got the economy reopened. I think we'd have 10% growth right now if Trump were president. So I hope he turns things around. This has been a disastrous first year for the Biden, but for the good of the country, I just pray that he starts moving to the middle and not, right now I feel like I'm serious. I would feel more comfortable if Bernie Sanders were president right now.
Ooh.
I'm serious, because at least Bernie Sanders is of sound mind. And, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he kind of flips in and out of a kind of reality. Mm-hmm. And when he says stuff like, the Afghanistan evacuation was a success, like, what planet are you living on?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, being rooted in reality is something that, unfortunately, we have to pine for a little bit. Stephen Moore joining us now, senior economic contributor at Freedom Works. One last question before I let you go. And we're very grateful that you did a Tuesday here with us instead of our normal Monday time. You talked about hoping that President Biden moves a little bit to the center. He's got over 3 years left in office. How quickly if this is the economic policy that we path that we continue on, how quickly and how significantly can this way of leading damage our country for how long? What's at stake here with this administration?
Well, that's a great question. And, I'm writing a book right now that'll be out in hopefully about 4 weeks. It's called Govzilla. And it's about the massive growth of government in this country. And I make the point that, if we look, this is not a fire drill. These people in Congress and Biden are hell-bent on spending and borrowing and taxing $4.5 trillion. That'll be the domestic version of Afghanistan. If we allow that to happen, it'll bankrupt our country, and it will put us so far in debt that it will literally take years and maybe decades to undo the damage that they want to do. They see that the window is slamming shut, right? Because they only have a 3 or 4 seat majority in the House out of 435 and 1 seat majority in the Senate. And they're trying to bulldoze this thing through. And Annie, here's one thing. You have to amplify this message because you've got such a powerful voice in this. First of all, nobody should ever vote for this massive $4.5 trillion bill until every single member of Congress who votes for it pledges on the Bible, puts their hand on the Bible and said, I read this bill. Because you know what? It's going to be over 10,000 pages long. I guarantee you not a single member of Congress even going to know what's in that bill.
We're going to have to pass it to see what's in it. That's not good. Not with our money.
Exactly. Yeah, remember that's what Pelosi said. We'll read it after we pass it. But this is outrageous. I think this is the most dangerous bill. And I'm not trying to engage in hyperbole here. I really believe this. This is the most dangerous bill for our country and our economy and our future as a nation that I've ever seen. It will bankrupt us. $4.5 trillion. That's the equivalent of $40,000 per person. That's how much they want to spend. $40,000 on top of the normal budget.
Man, this is why we love having you on. You are a strong voice for common sense when it comes to the economic future of this country. And the situation is dire right now. And what I hear you saying is 2022 is incredibly important. People need to be paying attention to their local races to
you better believe it.
Great to talk to you. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time today, Stephen Moore. Always a pleasure.
Annie, welcome back. I'm looking forward to the year ahead, and it's great to hear your voice again, and have a great week.
Thank you. You too. We appreciate it. Check out Stephen. You too. Bye-bye. We check out Stephen Moore. He's on Twitter. Freedom Works, a great resource also for you to see what's going on with the economy in the future. You guys, Brian Wiggins, he was really demonstrative in how this was going to go when I returned. He had like a list of rules and demands, and he wouldn't let me look him straight in the eye when we talked about it. So I don't really know what's going to happen next, but Ryan's in charge. And if you want to watch it, you'll probably get a lot more reaction from my face on YouTube, Annie Frey YouTube channel, and the Annie Frey Show Facebook than you will hear over the radio. Ryan, does that sound about right? Or I'm sorry, I was looking right at you. I should turn my face away.
Suffice it to say that since May, I've changed, and for the better, based on all of what you are experiencing now.
That's absolutely
terrifying. I'll go out of this break. That's fine.
Excuse me. Take it away.
It's the Annie Frey Show. Ryan Wiggins
still
here.
Do it in my voice. I haven't heard it for so long.
Oh, the Annie Frey Show. I haven't done your voice in a long time either.
I've
lost the accent
the whole time. In the Annie Frey Show. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality water heater and AeroSeal duct seal services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Owning a business comes with pressure. There's a limit to what I can do and still keep employees engaged. Fortunately, there's Insperity. They put 30 plus years of HR experience to work to help me with hiring, training, HR administration, and compliance, while giving my employees competitive benefit options. And because I'm able to focus on other priorities, my employees can thrive and my business can grow. With Insperity, nothing seems impossible. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
My friend Thomas Helbig, still doing what he does for people exactly like you. Have you called Thomas Helbig yet to get your retirement in order? If you haven't, here's the number, 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494. Thomas Helbig is such a good friend to so many of you 97.1 listeners. He is the guy who is going to take your worries, your concerns, your anxiety, because just talking to Stephen Moore right now, there's a lot of question marks about what's going to happen in the future. Joe Biden's going to have his hands on this economy for some time here. What do you need to do to make sure that you are, Biden-proof? Can I say that in an advertisement here? Because I just did. Thomas Helbig knows how to handle your retirement. You just got to sit down and have a conversation with him. And he works with so many 97.1 people exactly like you. He knows how to help. He is going to make sure that your nest egg is protected. You call him at 314-993-9494. A no cost, no obligation retirement review. And when you are talking to him, tell him you heard about him on the Annie Frey Show and just ask him what he knows. He can ask you questions, and you're going to quickly get into the place where you have that peace of mind going into the future that your retirement is on lock. You've worked hard for it. Make sure it works hard for you. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Join the conversation digitally. Download the Odyssey app and tune into the #1 talk station in St. Louis at any time. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Tell us what she's like. Environmental listen, girl. Does she ride a bike? She has a crystal necklace. She spends a lot of cash. Well, her vibes are rather reckless. Heading for a crash. Or her flowing skirt is blowing in a transcendental wind. And she wonders without knowing, where did we begin? Mary Moe!
Hey, folks, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So happy to be back. I'm in the studio. You should see my bathroom right now. It looks like a war event took place in there right now. I don't know how to get dressed to go to work. I didn't know where my curling iron was. I was walking around my house trying, what do I need to bring to work? I have not been in the studio for 18 months, but I am back now. Molly, precious little baby Molly, 3 months old here in a couple of days, is with a dear friend of ours who is watching her on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do you guys know that childcare is incredibly hard to find right now, but we've got some good people lined up. As I have been gone, you have been enjoying the sultry tones of one Ryan Wiggins. We're going to get to him in just a second. We've got Jim Carafano coming up right at the 1 o'clock hour. We are going to talk with him about Afghanistan. Is there a hostage situation going on? This next segment kind of feels like that. I'm just going to say that right now. Sorry, Ryan.
Don't apologize.
Okay, I'm not. I wasn't really sorry.
Okay, I don't think so. Sorry.
And then we're going to talk to Jack Posobiec. You probably know him if you're on Twitter at 1:25. And in the 2 o'clock hour, I have people to introduce to you. We are going to take any questions that you have of me over my leave. But right now, we have this thing, which I have been told is called Wiggins America.
That's correct.
This sounds like it should be like Wiggins Caribbean.
No.
Wiggins, Jamaica.
I don't even know if this is Caribbean. I think you may be way off.
I
always think of like Western, spaghetti Western when I hear this.
I could kind of hear that. When we make the logo, I said we could either turn America upside down in the Wiggins America, or we could write it in crayon.
That's fine too.
Or upside down in crayon.
I think what we're going to do is all of the imaging for the show, because here's what's happened over the last month.
Here's what's happened there. You've been gone, and this is how it went.
So I was expecting, because I like doing goofy stuff. I write comedy. I do goofy stuff. Like, that's been my career.
You?
Yes. But then I step in here, and I love politics, and I'm super conservative, as you might have guessed. I'm like, everything that's happening is making me so mad that I basically just yelled at people for the whole month you were gone. But all the imaging was
That's what I did
fun.
when I was gone too, but they were little people.
Yeah. So the announcement is, and the reason I'm going to play that music, that's going to be my theme song, actually.
He has a lot of demands, people.
Wiggins America.
I'm sorry, I was looking directly into your eyes.
The people have spoken. Thank you. It makes me uncomfortable.
I'm actually looking past you.
It feels like you're looking at me, and I don't like it.
I'm looking at Marie Osmond, Nutrisystem.
Now I am too. Boy, she looks great, doesn't she? I'm gonna buy whatever she's selling. The people have spoken, Annie, and I'm gonna get my own show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get my own show.
It's not noon to 3, is it?
It's not noon to 3.
This is how this happens.
No, I'm gonna be doing a weekend show. It's gonna be basically the Saturday morning show.
Saturday mornings,
and it'll be called Wiggins America from 6 to 8.
I'm so happy.
Go ahead.
For you.
I'm sure you are. Yeah,
no,
you look
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I have to say that the inundation, I mean, it kind of got annoying. Everyone's like, Ryan's doing such a good job.
I did not get annoyed by it at all.
I know. I noticed they were your fake accounts.
It was my mom over and over and over.
Ryan Wiggins is doing so Ryan Wiggins is looking particularly handsome today, and it was by Wyan Riggins. And I just thought, well, that's just very odd.
Why does Shirley Wiggins keep logging on under different names, but not forgetting to change her real name?
Shirley Schmiggins. Shirley Biggins. Big Ryan Wiggins fan.
Yeah.
I'm
Shirley
using
Biggins
up all your segment. Go.
is a big Ryan Wiggins
You've
fan.
got things to say,
well,
dude.
you know what? This segment's almost shot because I had some real stuff we were going to do, but I want to make that announcement, and then, we'll see from there. But I get to do because that's the weird thing.
What time? You said Saturday
6 to 8. 6 to 8 in the morning.
It's really early.
It is really early.
You can mail it in.
Yeah.
Some days.
It's mostly going to be.
When I have a really rough Friday night,
it's mostly going to be me redoing these segments. Yeah.
Wrestling with the twins.
Yeah.
Who are his children.
Yes. Wrestling with the twins. That could mean a lot of things.
Carry on.
Got back from the West Coast. I don't know what that means either.
Pacific time.
Apparently a lot more twins on the West Coast. I don't know.
Hey, do your segment.
Hey,
Let it
okay.
go.
So here's the thing. I was listening to Stephen Moore, and he gave me a great intro for this because.
Did you base the segment on what Stephen Moore said?
Yeah, I just wrote it.
Oh my gosh.
No. I've gotten so good at radio, Annie, that I was able to use what you just did to segue into what I had prepared ahead of time.
It's always good to talk about how good your segue is.
Right?
That's Radio 101.
And so
maybe even like 100 entry level.
What he said was that he thinks that new spending bill is the most important bill that he's ever seen in his lifetime, right?
That was a big statement.
That was a big statement.
Yeah.
And I had to sort of agree, but I will disagree for this one reason. I think HR 1 is the biggest bill that we would ever see in our lifetime if it were passed. HR 1 being the change to basically the way we do elections across the country, because then not only will we get that bill passed because we'd have Democrat majority forever, we'd have multiple ones after it, and we'd be cascading down the slippery slope faster than we ever have before, because we'd always have Democrat rule, because that's what HR 1 would do, is solidify Democrat majorities forever. So I was looking up and I heard a little tidbit about this that I was like, that can't be true. Otherwise, that should be everywhere, right? Because HR 1 states that states and localities have eroded I'm reading directly from this. States and localities have eroded access to the right to vote through restrictions on the right to vote, including excessive onerous voter identification requirements. Basically, it would get rid of voter ID nationwide, among many, many other things, right? Yeah. So this isn't a new bill. This has been a bill we've been talking about since before you even went on maternity. Democrats have been trying to pass this since January. The good news is, in 3 months you've been gone, it hasn't gone anywhere.
Still hasn't happened.
So I think that means that we're not going to see it. And I also don't think that Joe Manchin's going to let that spending bill go through.
He said he's voting no.
Right.
And I have yet to see him waffle when he's been very vocal about, I'm not voting for this.
Especially
Unless
when
I'm missing something.
No, you're right. Especially when he takes a hard stance, because there are things that he'll say, not really a fan of that. And then he'll kind of still listen to both sides and they'll come to sort of a compromise. But I think he's smart enough that he knows when he's doing that to say, here's what I kind of believe. And then he'll let kind of the negotiation happen around him. And he's the center of the universe. On this one, a little bit off topic. We're not going to finish this anyway. But the point of this long discussion is that Vox and many, many others are reporting now.
Vox?
Yes, as in like leftist news sites are reporting. There are so many studies about this because, of course, universities were like, well, then we got to find the data and give all of our Democrat colleagues in outside of academia and politics the ammunition so that they can use to pass H.R. 1. Well, all of their research, including universities outside the United States, Harvard Business School, and many others, have determined that voter ID laws don't decrease voter turnout, including that of minority voters. In a lot of cases, it makes it go up. So you're not hearing about that because it's against the popular opinion and the opinion I think they were hoping to find. But now what you're seeing in the news of the last sort of week based on this is that Democrats are now willing, based on H.R. 1, to negotiate on voter ID. As long as they can get the other stuff passed, well, we'll negotiate.
Wonder what's the most important thing for them, right?
Because they're realizing that it actually doesn't hurt Democrat turnout at all.
Fantastic. Before we go, we got to leave here in just a second, and we'll be back in the 1 o'clock hour with Jim Carafano on what the heck is going on in Afghanistan. Real quick, Ryan, Jackie on Facebook Live says, even if I don't listen live, weekends on Saturday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m. Will I be able to listen via Odyssey podcast? You getting that set up?
We will absolutely podcast it.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So people are going to have to check that out. Ryan, thank you so much. Ryan is going to be in with us in and out throughout the entire show. The 2 o'clock hour is going to be a big discussion with some big reveals, and we're going to have big reveals throughout the week. And you're going to be there for all of them. Join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, Annie Frey Show Facebook page. We're live there. Back in a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality water heater and AeroSeal duct seal services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your favorite teams from across the country and get the inside scoop from experts. AUDACY. Odyssey.
Need more living space to enjoy every moment you spend at home? Time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. Whether you want a luxurious bathroom, an updated kitchen with tons of counter space, a finished basement, or a bump-out addition, Lakeside does it all. We don't subcontract, and we guarantee our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty, so you can rest assured you get the home interior of your dreams. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
We've all seen the news, and if you haven't been thinking about cybersecurity in your business, you probably are now. It's never been more important than it is today. At Acropolis Technology Group, we're having these conversations daily, and they primarily fall into one or more of these 3 categories. 1, I'm renewing my cyber liability coverage, and my insurance company is asking me to check boxes that I can't check. How do I fix it at a reasonable cost? 2, I'm so integrated with my suppliers, business partners, and customers, they're asking me the same questions. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and I'm concerned we aren't doing enough. Or 3, most of my employees get it, but there are a few that I'm really concerned could expose us to a ransomware attack by accidentally clicking on the wrong link. How do I educate them and lessen my risk? If you're concerned and not sure what to do, we can help. Security is a layered strategy that begins with a conversation. Let's start that conversation today and visit us on the web at acropolistech.com. That's acropolistech.com. Protect, optimize, grow. We are Acropolis Technology.
When you have errands to run, do you like to run all over town, or do you try to make as few stops as possible? It's nice when you can get everything in one place, isn't it? Hi, this is Lori Heisey, owner of Heisey Advisory Group. I believe the same is true for retirement planning. You shouldn't have to go to one place for tax planning, another place for investment planning, and another place for retirement income planning. That's why Ken and I started Heisey Advisory Group. We wanted to build a company that could help families with all aspects of their retirement planning. We're more than just convenient. We're knowledgeable, experienced, and we'd love to help you create a comprehensive retirement plan so you can retire with confidence. Call 314-328-6000 to schedule a visit with us. to talk about all things retirement. That's 314-328-6000.
Firm offers insurance but does not provide tax or legal advice. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Lisa Brady, Fox News. The storm ravaged Northeast, getting a presidential visit. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, President Biden began his assessment with a meeting in Somerset County, New Jersey, where he said the post-Ida scenes were sobering.
The losses that we witnessed today are profound. Dozens of lost lives, homes destroyed.
4 people are still missing. The president said it's government's responsibility to help recover and rebuild.
Not just to get back to normal, but to get back to a place where if it happened again, the damage would be considerably less.
The president is touring more damage before heading to Queens, New York to assess Ida's effect there. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. In Louisiana, more than 400,000 still have no power, with tens of thousands of utility poles damaged over a week after Hurricane Ida made landfall. What Republicans call an election integrity bill is signed into law by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Fox's Jeff Manasso has this live.
Lisa, Senate Bill 1 is now law in Texas, a bill that bans drive-through voting at 24-hour polling places and requires IDs on mail-in ballots. It makes ballot harvesting a felony and increases partisan poll watchers. Governor Abbott saying the bill also increases the ability of Texans to vote.
One way that it achieves that is it provides even more hours of time for people to be able to go cast their vote.
House Democrats who fled the state to stall the bill say it's unconstitutional and infringes on people's right to vote. 2 lawsuits have also already been filed against the new Texas voting law. Lisa.
Thanks, Jeff. An interim government is formed in Afghanistan, but the Taliban's caretaker cabinet gives lead roles to some of its old guard, raising concern at the UN, where a spokesman says only a negotiated and inclusive settlement will bring sustainable peace to Afghanistan. America is listening to Fox News.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents Cry Macho, a story of being lost and found as Clint Eastwood returns as Mike Milo, a one-time rodeo star who then takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home from Mexico. The unlikely pair face a challenging journey. The only road home is through redemption. Now, you'll be able to see it in theaters and on HBO Max for 31 days, September the 17th. It's rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for kids under 13.
Nielsen says more than 30 million Americans watch Newsmax. It's the 4th highest rated cable news channel, and it's available on all major cable systems, or find it on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and more. And it's free on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, and TiVo. Or download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. Watch it anytime, anywhere. Forbes described Newsmax as a news powerhouse. Millions of Americans are watching Newsmax. You should too. Tune in today.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We are ahead of a cool front this afternoon. That's why it's going to be a little windy from the south. Also on the warm side, 90 degrees for the high, partly to mostly sunny skies. Maybe a spot shower or thunder shower late in the day into the early evening. Otherwise tonight, partly cloudy and 60. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, great. Sunny and nice, comfortable, 80 to 85 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, fall is a great time to get some painting knocked off your to-do list, and CertaPro Painters is there to help. This is Mark Reardon. I've depended on CertaPro for years, and right now they're about to come over to restain my deck. They can do that for you or tackle any other interior or exterior painting job. The cooler fall weather makes it a great time to do outside jobs to prevent chipping, peeling, or fading, or refresh interior spaces like the living room or kitchen. CertaPro can do it all. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Book your appointment today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Proven and trusted experts in painting. CertaPro Painters.
The 5-year no-interest finance offer is on at Diamonds Direct with a special focus this weekend on Tacori. We've flown in entire collections of all new Tacori direct from the Tacori Design Studios in Los Angeles. And this Friday and Saturday, you can choose your Tacori handcrafted jewelry and get 5 years, zero-interest financing. You can also earn up to $500 toward your next platinum bridal piece with purchase of a platinum Tacori bridal ring. Make your California Tacori dream come true this Friday and Saturday. Approved credit only at Diamonds Direct. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
97.1 FM Talk is now streaming on the Odyssey app. It's your home for streaming The Mark Cox Show, Brian Kilmeade, The Annie Fry Show, and Mark Reardon on your phone. The Odyssey app for streaming 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is The Annie Fry Show.
But we had her there for 24 hours before the State Department was even aware she was there. They didn't show up until a few hours after before we got her across. And so for them to say they facilitated it is absolutely a lie. We had to go through over 20 checkpoints, which each one of those checkpoints you actually have to pay money to get through because of the Taliban. On the day that she was actually able to come across, she was actually told, because I was on the phone with her at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time in the morning, and they said, if you come back, we'll kill you. And so we were negotiating. We were negotiating back and forth. The State Department was actually told at one time, told the embassy in the country not to assist us in any way. Quote, that came from the ambassador, said Washington, D.C., Mark Wayne said, Representative Mullen, what he called me, said, I'm not to assist you in any way.
You know, welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. This is Annie Fry. Now here for Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Dana Lash did a wonderful job filling in while I was out, but I am back and I am so glad that you are here with us. I got to tell you, being the air quotes civilian that I've been over the last 3 months, taking care of a little baby Molly, it has been quite something to try to grasp what the heck is America doing in Afghanistan. You hear a lot of stories, a lot of horror stories, see a lot of horrific things on video. And, you know, over the weekend, you hear this phrase, the hostage situation in Afghanistan. What is going on? What is the Biden administration doing? And here to try to make some sense of it, if that's even possible, is Jim Carafano with the Heritage Foundation. Jim, it is a pleasure to be speaking with you. I know that you have been pulling out your hair over what has been going on overseas. What can you tell us about the situation in Afghanistan and our current responsibility regarding it?
On, you've been absent, but now you're back, so we're excited about that.
I'm here.
Hey, look, well, first of all, I just want to say, you played that clip about that guy saying, well, the State Department wasn't any help. This is like the second time this has happened. The president, during his third mea culpa about Afghanistan, explaining away how it was not his problem, he also talked about a lot of these private sector efforts, and he made it sound like either they were working with the federal government or was facilitating cooperating with the federal government. And that's an absolute false. That's an abomination. This is like Dunkirk, where everybody ran down to the boats to go across English Channel and get the British Army, but we didn't have a Churchill. The federal government, these efforts happened in spite of, because the federal government had failed. And I would say, today, when you're asking what's going on, look, we don't know exactly how many Americans are still stranded in Afghanistan. They say it's 100, could be more. I got to tell you, there are only 52 hostages in the embassy in Tehran.
Yeah.
So if between Americans, other foreigners, high-value Afghans who are going to get killed, there is not an insignificant number of people still stranded there and all potentially being held hostage. Meanwhile, people have probably heard about the fighting going on in Panjshir Valley with the insurgents. Taliban claim that they've cleared that out. My sources say that's not true. The fighting's still going on. The resistance is not dead. And if they could actually just get through another couple of months or so, they get into the winter, they'll never be gone. And in the fall, there's going to be some real fighting with the Taliban. Here's the thing I worry about the most. This administration's strategy is to engage, enable, and empower the Taliban. In part because they have no other leverage. They've got nothing. But also they think that by connecting with them, they're going to become less dangerous. This is unbelievably naive and stupid. The more we engage with the Taliban, the weaker they think we are, the more they're going to diss us, the more they're going to feel empowered and emboldened. And they are going to hunker down, and they are not going to stop Al-Qaeda and the Haqqani Network and groups like that from playing 9/11, the next 9/11. And you have to remember, these groups, they are passionate. They want to go back to Afghanistan. They want to plan the next 9/11 from Afghanistan, and they want the world to know that it was planned in Afghanistan so they can spit in the face of America and demonstrate that they have been redeemed and that their historic mission is blessed by God and that this is the beginning of the end of the West. So our most dangerous days, they are ahead of us.
I mean, you're mincing words there. We're speaking with Jim Carafano, who's the national security and foreign policy expert at the Heritage Foundation. This is one of those things that fear in any sense usually is based on things you don't know. And
Right.
The American public does not know a fraction of the things that you know, just from your experience of serving and being close to these particular issues. I have a very close personal friend who spent 5 of the last 10 years in Afghanistan. And I text him and I ask him questions and he kind of puts things into perspective for me. But I'm noticing across the board in a more bipartisan way than I've seen in a lot, that there's a lot of eyebrows being raised on the side of the aisle or the media where you wouldn't really expect it. That sets off alarm bells for me, that this is a concerning situation for a wider swath of people than usual. I hear you say Al-Qaeda. That's scary to me, but that's because I don't really know what's going on. You say Taliban and we're working with them. The 17-year-old who was sitting in her senior honors English class when the planes hit the plane didn't even know what terrorism was. It was something from the movies. I've grown to hear Taliban and it makes the hair stand up on the end on my arms. We're scared. Us novices are scared. We know the words, we know the vocabulary, but we don't know what comes next. And all I hear is this Biden administration, as you say, we're going to work with them. I heard him this morning say we're going to see if they're going to live up to their word. And I'm sitting here going, excuse me, what? Can this be real?
It's complete. Look, it's complete nonsense, and it's really putting us at risk. And here's what it proves. If you listen to all 3 of the president's speeches and you hear about this, what they're currently doing, there's a thread in common with all this stuff. It's all about excusing what they did, explaining it away. It's not their fault. So the president's original decision about pulling out was about politics. I'll be the guy to end endless wars. Americans don't care about this. I'm going to get out of town before we have to do anything difficult there. And then the failure was all covered up, focusing on their politics. And even now, what are they doing? The president's running around doing anything he can to change the subject. Let's talk about the $4.5 trillion. Let's talk about the hurricanes. Let's talk about anything about Afghanistan because they know that their usual MO, which is to just change the subject and ignore it, and they'll get the support from the media, and they'll get the support from Congress, and they'll get the support from all the pundits. That's not working. Americans are really angry about this. They were lied to. They were humiliated. They're worried about another 9/11. They're worried about Americans being left behind. And they haven't forgotten. And I don't think they're going to forget. And the problems in Afghanistan aren't going away. They're actually going to get worse over time. And so this administration has, the thing about the guy that, grabbed the tiger by the tail. They have grabbed the world by the tail. They've angered the world. They have started a new round of global terrorism, and they've insulted, humiliated, and disgusted Americans. And if they think that everybody else is just going to say, okay, well, dude, you had a bad Tuesday. I don't think that's true.
You brought something up that is near and dear to my heart. And, speaking of my friend who has served in Afghanistan, there's so many people. And like I said, for me personally, I'm 37 years old. My people turned 18 the year September 11th happened. And then, I have dear friends in all branches of military who, and God bless everybody who goes down that path. Thank every single one of you for it. But my peers who signed up after the planes hit the buildings. That means something to me. And that, for all the millennials who are out there that everybody likes to poo-poo, although we have Generation Z now, so millennials are passing the torch to the next youngest people. I look at these people who I've known in, real life, good friends of mine who have served. And again, going back to the fear is what you don't know. I'm ignorant about this, which is why we have Jim Carafano on the show. My heart breaks for these people who have served over there, who have given their time. What do you say to those people who have served? And what do you want them to know as they're watching this unfold when they don't have that lack of understanding that I do?
Well, as you know, for somebody that, served in the military for 25 years and have family who are cops and firemen and nurses and doctors and served in the military, the one thing they have in common is this notion of selfless service. People, you get a paycheck, sure, but people fundamentally go into the military because they want to serve their country. That is such a noble and ennobling act that what you accomplish in your service is just the twist of fate. Whether you're a winner or a loser on the battlefield, that doesn't measure your worth and your value to the country. This isn't like the Super Bowl, right? Everybody in the military gets a Super Bowl ring because you've agreed to do something that few others are willing to do, serve. And that service has honor and memory, regardless of the outcome of the conflict and whether you are well or ill led. You go to Arlington, there are stones in perfect rows. They're not marked with winners and losers. They all serve their country, and they're all equally valuable in the eyes of Americans. So there is no service that was unworthy or diminished because of what you did. But to your point about, okay, we're going to, this is a really important point, is what are we really worried about? And here's what we're really worried about. There's two groups. One is called the Haqqani Network, which most people have never heard of. This is a very shadowy criminal terrorist group that spans Afghanistan and Pakistan, that works with the Pakistani intelligence services, that were the people that originally forced the Taliban to invite bin Laden to come to Afghanistan. They are perhaps the most radical religious extremists in the world today. They believe in this millennial village vision of overthrowing the established order. And the reason why they are arm in arm with Al-Qaeda is because Al-Qaeda shares that vision. The leadership of Al-Qaeda has been hiding out in Iran. They're going to come back to Afghanistan. Those two groups, which are intimately linked to the Pakistan intelligence services and the Taliban, nobody's going to tell them what to do because people don't want to anger them, don't want to annoy them, and are actually sympathetic to their vision. They're going to be left alone. And they have one thought. They must demonstrate that their mission is validated by God. And the way they do that is that to show the world again that they can do another 9/11 and there's nothing the world can do about it. And to let them know they did it from the same place. To show that America really is the paper tiger that bin Laden always threatened. That threat started yesterday. I don't know the day on the next 9/11, but I know that there are people who are passionately trying to pull it off. And that's a reason why we should be concerned. And the other reason why we should be concerned is that this administration is not taking it seriously. We have an open border. If I were advising terrorists today, I wouldn't say, get somebody here to do this. They might get caught by the FBI or something. You go and you get a team and you send them to walk across the border from Mexico and the United States. It's the easiest way to get here. The Customs and Border Patrol guys will probably pick them up and take them to the city of their choice. We have to secure that border. Today, this administration puts more emphasis in the Department of Justice and Homeland Security in persecuting conservatives, Trump voters, and anybody else they don't like. And they do not have their eye on the ball. They aren't out there hunting for global transnational terrorists. That nonsense has to stop. So if you're worried about why can't I sleep tonight, you have people who are really trying to kill you and your daughter and your neighbor and the community in which you live, or let them live in cowering fear. And you have a government which knows all the things to do in the way we stopped that the last 20 years, and they're not doing any of them.
Jim Carafano with us, the national security and foreign policy expert. One real quick question before I let you go. September 11th is upon us, 20 years. Have we been in a more dire situation as a country in these past 20 years than we are coming up upon this 20th anniversary that we will recognize here shortly?
Yeah, I will say no, because look at where we are today. The Taliban today have a bigger, thanks to Joe Biden, have a bigger armor, a bigger military, more money, and more friends. They are more rooted in than ever. So they will be more unintimidated by evidence than to allow the Taliban and Al-Qaeda networks to do exactly what they want. And they aren't worried about the rest of the world because they will dare the rest of the world to come at them this time because they are so well armed and so well rooted in. I think it's a much dangerous situation than it was on September 10th, 2001.
Well, Jim Carafano, we always thank you for your expertise. We're going to keep you close here as these coming weeks unfold and years. There's so much at stake right now, and people need information to know what we're really dealing with. And that's what you have. And that's why we're so grateful that you're here. Jim, thanks so much for your time.
God bless. So glad you're back. And, I did have a grandson, so I'm totally into arranged marriages.
All right. Okay.
So we should talk.
I'm taking applications right now. Is that an appropriate thing to say? I don't even know. Oh, man. I'm a feminist. People, back off. Jim, thank you so much. He's absolutely adorable. Seen him on Twitter. We'll talk to you again soon. At Heritage Foundation, heritage.org for more there. I mean, seriously, folks, that was a conversation. I'm trying to get like all these big guys like, oh, it's a big thing. Andy Fry's back on the Andy Fry show. I need to talk to Jim Carafano, and I've been wanting to have that conversation. And unfortunately, it went as seriously as I expected it to. But boy, we are living in some crazy times right now, aren't we? We're grateful that you're here. When we come back, Jack Posobiec joins us. We're going to talk about the Biden administration. We're going to talk about the culture war that we are in right now on a daily basis. And when I'm talking to Jim Carafano and I'm wondering, well, what do we do? What can the people do? For me, folks, you need to get on your knees and say some prayers because we're going to need to hold God close in these days coming ahead. Stick around. Jack Posobiec coming up next and some big reveals in the 2 o'clock hour. You're not going to want to miss. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
How is your mental health? Billie Eilish, Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Imagine Dragons, Lil Nas X, and so many more feel the same pressures we do. They're joining our host, Carson Daly, for I'm Listening, September 23rd, starting at 6 p.m. right here. Carson and a cast of mental health experts, athletes, musicians, other notables, and you will share stories, insights, and help us all remember we are not alone. Talking about our mental health has the power to save lives. For more, visit imlistening.org.
I'm Listening, Thursday, September 23rd from 6 till 8 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk and the Odyssey app.
Critical thinking for critical times. You're listening to the #1 talk station in St. Louis. A voice for the free exchange of ideas. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
You gotta smile so bright.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. This is the Annie Frey Show.
The way you swept me off my feet. You know you could have been improved. And baby, so sweet. You know you could have been some perfume. Well, you could have been anything that you wanted to. I can tell you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Annie Frey in the flesh here, back in studio. Took a little 3-month hiatus, had a baby. Those things happen. And Molly is wonderful. I handed her off to a dear friend of ours, and I am here with you today, and I am so grateful for it. A reminder that in the 2 o'clock hour, we are going to have some big reveals on some people who are now associated with the show that you're going to want to know about. And if you haven't taken the time yet, we're streaming live on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, also the Annie Frey Show Facebook, and the Annie Frey Show channel on Twitch, something new I'm trying. Maybe it won't be here next week, so get in while the getting's good. We're going to have a fun conversation at 2 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of it. Check the live stream out, and you might see a few things that we haven't talked about yet. I want to get to our guest. Excited to welcome Jack Posobiec onto the show. Jack, it's a pleasure. I've been speaking with you on and off a little bit over the last 3 months, but you, my friend, are the most on top of it person who I know who is out there, and I'm grateful that you've given us some time on the show today.
Well, Annie, I just wanted to say to you as well personally, congratulations, welcome back. And, you know, I always put out there to everybody, be a rebel, start a family.
You do.
And you were really taking that to heart.
I said earlier in the show, Molly is my 4th kid. And when people see me with her, like, oh, she's so adorable. Is this your first? When I say 4th kid, people have this, they like go gray. They're like terrified for me. And I'm like, no, I'm good with this. This was a happy thing. But I advocate as well for large families. Children fulfill your life. And if you're a good person, why not create more of you?
You share the kids, share the joys, right? More kids, more joys.
For sure. Speaking of raising kids in this world today, you know, one of the things that you are not afraid to talk about on Twitter at Jack Posobiec, is really what goes on in the cultural world. And culture, we have a lot of things that people are being tested on right now. And if you're on the conservative side of the culture war, you can't really turn a corner without having someone in your face telling you that you're the worst thing that's ever walked the face of the planet. You address these things like saying, have big families, have children, go out, be fruitful and multiply. What are the things right now in education? Maybe it is in the way where our government administration is leading us down the woke path. What are the things right now that you think are the biggest threat to our culture today?
Well, I really do think that there's a lot of things out there that are threats to our culture, but 2 of the biggest ones are, number 1 is censorship, right? So the ability to shut down our processes by being able to have shows like yours, social media, being able to talk, being able to share ideas. That's number 1. But then number 2, and this might even be bigger, and it goes hand in hand, and that's the loss of traditional American values. Right, this idea that we all sort of shared the same ideas, the same goals, freedom of speech being one of those. Having family. Should families be the center of our society? Should families be the center of our community? Should parents, right? Should parents be able to have, if they choose, right, to be able to support a family on a single income? Why can't we do that anymore? And this really touches on so many things, right? The breakdown of family, the breakdown of wealth in the United States, the shipping of jobs overseas, the economic distress, which leads to, of course, opioid crisis, diseases of despair, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of these things all go hand in hand. And it really does flow from that sort of outsourcing of morality that we've now done to Hollywood and DC and all these other places, rather than having it come from the home, where I think is the start of it.
Yeah, freedom to choose for yourself. I mean, in many cases, things that absolutely have no impact on, those that are surrounding you, to choose something differently, the way you educate your children, what you educate your children on. I mean, it is not illegal yet in this country to be ignorant. And when you have the government deciding on what is ignorant and what isn't, it's a very slippery slope. I'm curious right now with the direction that this government is headed in, the Biden administration, but I have my own questions on who actually is influencing the product of this administration. It's a very top-down, government-heavy way of doing things where they know what's best. And if you don't agree with them, maybe you'll come around to agree with them later. But if you don't, that's too bad, because they're the government and you shall submit. What are the things that you're seeing right now with this push, a very dramatic, very heavy-handed push from the government with independent people who maybe weren't as invested in politics? They maybe were disgusted with Trump, but they weren't in love with Biden. I think some of these policy decisions are trickling down.
One of the big stories that I was reporting on that I got a little bit of flack for, because people were saying, hey, wait, what's going on with this? And I said that Biden was preparing, his administration was preparing a major speech about lockdowns, vaccine mandates, new things that they wanted to put in place, with that top-down approach with Dr. Fauci in charge of it. But then, and I was reporting that this was imminent, it was about to happen, but then a little thing called Afghanistan kind of happened, and that caught a lot of the administration by surprise, obviously. And so for a few weeks, they were sidelined by that. Now we're hearing reports that speech is back on. It's going to be coming up later this week, probably Thursday. We're currently hearing, as you know, this administration kind of keeps things in flux, but it's, again, going back to the same idea of government top-down approaches to everything, national mandates, state mandates, right? We're not going to be given the ability to make our own decisions. We're not going to be able to be given the ability to have those sort of best practices discussed by anybody. And so I think you really are getting into a situation of, it's sort of like the proverbial cartoon almost, where someone says, oh, well, you're not following the science. And the response is, you're not following science. You're just repeating whatever you saw on TV last night.
Yeah, for sure. Jack Posobiec is the senior editor at Human Events. You can follow him on Twitter like everybody else does, at Jack Posobiec. You mentioned Joe Biden getting caught off guard. That's a nice way of putting it, with the Afghanistan debacle. I've been kind of referring to myself throughout the course of the show, my first day back. I've been off for 3 months watching a kiddo, which is a lot of work, but it's a lot of stationary work. You kind of sit there. And as I said earlier, your intention is to keep the thing from crying, but you're still in tune with other stuff. And so I'm in and I'm out, and watching this Afghanistan story unfold as a civilian, someone who hasn't been inundated, soaked up with the news for 24 hours a day. I'm seeing people who are usually not disgusted with Joe Biden or the left, or people who are usually not engaged, being a little more outspoken about being disgusted. I'm curious if you think that this administration is losing the support that it absolutely will need to keep going into 2022, if this story is hurting now and if it's going to have a lasting effect in the future.
Well, my grandfather actually had the distinction of serving under General Patton in the Third Army. And Patton had this famous speech, and part of that is remade in the Patton movie. But in the actual speech, one of the things he said was, Americans hate a loser. An American will not tolerate a loser. The thought of losing is hateful to an American. And so you really see this situation in Afghanistan, where for 20 years, our generals and our politicians told us everything was good. We're winning, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. And then suddenly it's a humiliation. It's on the world stage. It's in front of everybody. We're told that the United States military is the greatest military in the world. We could never lose a war. We could never face defeat like this. And yet it happened, and it's left a brutal sting, I think, in a lot of people. And again, we're talking civilians, just sort of the average person on the street. Inside the military, especially in the veteran community, there is such a loss of confidence, really a crisis of confidence in the chain of command. And in addition, you're seeing people who fought in Afghanistan, people who are boots on the ground in Afghanistan, have a lot of despair right now and are really looking themselves in the mirror and say, why did we do that? Was it all worth it?
Yeah, it's disheartening, especially when you know those people. Maybe you're related to those people. Maybe you are those people who have seen what has transpired in the last month, maybe, and where it has put us right now. One thing that you just pointed at is you were talking about, Patton. Like when I think Patton, I think the biggest American flag you could possibly think of. Like these are the images that come to my mind, and I think about what it means to be American. And a lot of the denigrating of the idea of what I mean, if you say something like that is so American, that is a slander coming out of the mouths of a very large portion of the political climate right now. Like to be American is something to be negative. How do we get to the point that as a country where we're supposed to be this like we get to be that experiment? Nobody else has the clashing and blending of cultures that we have right now, where we are supposed to celebrate those differences. That is American. The idea of being proud of being an American is something that is being greatly challenged. It's a stump speech for people who are running political campaigns. How do we get to this very low point that is manifesting itself in Afghanistan? And like you said, we have military members who have served. We have to ask that question.
Well, I do think that you kind of hit the nail on the head there, was that, the sort of proposition of America used to be that we were the best of the best from all around the world. We incorporated best ideas and best practices, but we did that all under the umbrella of the American flag and American values and American virtues. And yet, the minute we started twisting that, the minute we started demeaning our country, we started demeaning our history. You go to the campus of any major college or university in America today, and you'll find students who say, I don't know why I should be rooting for Team USA at the Olympics. Maybe I like, this athlete or that athlete, and I support them. But America as a country, why would I support that? And so when you have part of the country that doesn't even think that possibly the country itself should exist, right? Now you are going to get those frictions. Now you're going to get that tension. And if you're someone who's a public official that isn't willing to be that person to stand up and say, we have to go back to the way things were. We can't be doing this anymore, even if it is politically incorrect to say so. We have to make the hard choices because it will be better for everyone. It'll be better for families. It'll be better for communities. Certainly it'll be better for our soldiers, our troops that are actually in harm's way. If we do that, we can succeed. If we don't do that, you're going to see more situations like you saw in Afghanistan.
Senior editor of Human Events, Jack Posobiec, with us right now. One last question before we let you go. I've seen some little wavering in the mainstream media of confidence in this president and this administration. Certainly people in my own private life have been questioning some of the directions, or just acknowledging in general, this isn't going very well. What is your understanding of this administration, the confidence that people have in it from any capacity, your personal experience, your experience of connections within Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, what you're seeing now, I used to call this the shade war between sort of the two teams in the White House. And you've got Team Kamala and Team Biden. Now, the two of them came together because on the campaign trail, it made sense. He was sort of an older East Coast Democrat, sort of seen as a more corporatist, neoliberal type, whereas she was West Coast, diverse candidate, first woman as vice president. So it made sense to have her on the ticket. That being said, they never had a very close relationship to begin with, and the staffs of neither side really were ever close or had worked together in any serious capacity in the past. I used to call this the shade war, where Kamala would say things like, well, some people get to go to Europe, but not me, when Jill and Joe were off to the G7. Now that has turned almost completely hot. There are daggers being stared at each other in the White House right now. Kamala Harris having serious conversations, comments that she's dropping about the 25th Amendment. I really do think you're seeing a situation now where there are people, and an increasing number of people in there, saying maybe Kamala Harris is the way forward for this administration.
Well, that'd be a historical thing to watch and to cover. I want to encourage everyone to follow you at Jack Posobiec. You are on it. You have the latest information in many ways, and you're the first on a lot of these stories. Jack, it is a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for making some time for us and for our listeners. I'm very grateful.
Annie, always a pleasure to be on, and God bless you and your family.
Thank you. Yours as well. Jack Posobiec, senior editor at Human Events. Great to have you here, and we look forward to talking to you again. Seriously, a wonderful follow on Twitter. I know you people are like, oh, I don't like Twitter, censor. Yes. I just kind of like consider my time on Twitter bot time. I mean, I'm not really like a fighter. I love the mute button. If people want to, I did this the other day. I replied to Dan Crenshaw, who is a representative who I am very, and I just like his style. I feel like I can relate to him more than some of these lifers that are in Washington, D.C. He said something in the wake of the Afghanistan debacle, like we need to support our troops. And I was like, and I on Twitter just replied to him. And I was like, thank you for using your voice as a veteran himself, for reminding those who have served how valuable they are to us. And thank you also for your service. And you would have think that I called him like the George Carlin 7 words you can't say on the radio. I mean, I got the trolls coming out. Somebody was like, lay off the peroxide. I'm like, what does my hair have to do with it? And also, for the record, I have naturally gray hair and have had naturally graying hair since I was 14. And thank the Lord it came in to style around my mid-30s because it saves me a boatload of money. But like, people just come out of the woodwork and they're so mean. And these are the people who hate mean tweets. I do not get it. The hypocrisy of all of this, it is not lost on me. And then I just go, mute. I want to mute people in real life. I mean, some people. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just be like, mute, and you point at them and their lips are moving, but I just don't hear anything coming out. Kind of like to do that to my kids sometimes. Does that make me a bad mom, or does that just make me saying what everybody else is thinking? Let's take a quick break. We're going to have a little conversation when we come back. A reminder, I would love for you to join us on our live stream online. You can watch us while you're sitting at work. Just pop us up on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You can watch us on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. And you can also stream us on the Odyssey app. I hope I'm saying that right. It's been a while. Just find 97.1 FM Talk. You can take us anywhere you go, and you can hear us anywhere you are in your car on 97.1 FM. That good old-fashioned way to listen to the radio. Annie Frey here, back on my own show. And Ryan Wiggins and Carl and some other people going to join us in the 2 o'clock hour. And we are going to have a fun conversation. And if you have questions about my last 3 months off, get on that live stream and comment them, and I'll answer them. We'll be right back in just a minute. Don't go away.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. This is The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Well, I hope you had Andrea's at your barbecue this weekend. If you didn't, the nice thing is if you pick up a jar next time you're at the grocery store, Dearborg, Schnucks, some Walmarts, I believe, do have it, and a lot of specialty stores too. You just pick up a jar and it stays good for probably a year and a half, so you can just have it ready for the next time that you're grilling or you're having people over. It makes your meat taste better, and it makes you stand out as a better cook than you probably are. It's internationally famous for that very reason. CNN, I know it's CNN, but CNN just recently ranked the top 10 grill items. So not just like sauces, but any grill item, rub, seasoning, anything in the world. And Andrea's was number 5 on the list. I think it was number 5. It's one of the top 10 to basically make you seem better than you are when you grill. And of course, you can apply that to yourself too. You don't have to wait till somebody comes over. You can have a great tasting meal tonight. Get a bottle of Andrea's sauce, area grocery stores, or andreas.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project, We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Just because you were born with bad vision, or even if your vision's become worse over time, it doesn't mean you have to live with it. Mark Cox here from my friends at Brenton Vision. Go online to brentonvision.com to find out more about what they do. They're one of the only places in the U.S., the only place in Missouri, in fact, that offers all 7 forms of modern vision correction. Whether you're tired of dealing with contact lenses, reading glasses all over the place, even bifocals, Brenton Vision has helped people just like you from all over the world enjoy life with crisp, clear vision, like my wife, who went through the ocular exam, who went through the RLE procedure, and she can't believe the difference. It has changed her life. Ask her. If you know her, she'll tell you the same thing. Brenton Vision can schedule you right online. You deserve to see life more clearly. Book your appointment right now, 314-375-2020, or online at brentonvision.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Mike Parson is not really super conservative governor. He's kind of an unknown entity to most people. He works closely with the bureaucracy, quite frankly.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you when I go out. Yeah, I know I'm gonna be.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you.
This is a great song. Like, is there anybody who hears this song on the radio and doesn't keep playing it? Do you like, Carl?
I
you're the
love
guy.
this song.
You do.
I do.
I was just waiting to say that, and you're like, I hate this song. It's terrible. And
No,
then you're
I
gonna give
loved
me
the
a
song when it came out.
book report on why.
And there's a whole episode of How I Met Your Mother about this song.
The Pretenders?
The Proclaimers.
The Proclaimers.
Very close.
The Pretenders.
That'd be a woman singing.
Carl knows my depth of music knowledge. He said in the last break, he goes, UB40, did you play this because the Who died? Not the Who, but who?
The one of the
Horn players?
horn players, yeah.
I was like, no. I didn't know that.
But that's okay.
Rest his soul. His?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not my forte. I have
That's
so
okay.
much room. Isn't it weird that you have like this brain that has, you've got these files in your brain, and there are things that have been stored for decades, your entire life. And music lyrics, this is one of those things. I'll be listening to the 90s on Sirius, and a song will come up that I have not heard for 20 years. And I know all the words to it. How do I know the words to it? And I can't remember to pack my lunch for the day or something like that. How does that happen? Isn't it crazy?
Because you don't know that you know the words. That's the thing.
So it's like on an external drive that I can plug in when I need to. But I mean, like, I'll be listening to a song and I don't know what the next word is going to be in the song, but I can sing it when I get there.
But you're also smart, and it's probably going to rhyme.
Yeah, that's true. Do you ever? I think it's interesting to be a part of the generation. I remember getting the internet in my house in 97.
Wow. We had it at the radio station in 92.
Well, we weren't fancy people. We didn't. I mean, I grew up in the country. Yeah, it was a country, and you couldn't get cable in the country. And in fact, the house that I grew up in, my parents just got cable for the first time a few weeks ago. It is 2021. It was the late 90s when we got internet. I think I remember being kind of one of the early people in my class or my age group to get the internet. But I do absolutely know what it's like to sit around and wonder about things that you just BS and tell each other what the truth is. And there's really no way to verify it. There's no fact checking people. It's just, oh no, it was 1967 and that's when blah, blah, blah. And really it was 1962 and that's what you're thinking it is, but you don't say anything because the other person just is really convincing. So you just kind of let it go.
False memories.
Yeah. Is Mandela effect?
The Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm. See, I know some things.
He did not die in jail.
Yeah. And
he was the president of South Africa.
I just think it's interesting that my children are growing up in a world where within seconds they can know anything that they want to know. And at the same time, I mean, put this in the same envelope that we're talking about with the rest of the show, that when it comes to anything that has to do with this pandemic, if you have a mindset, you can subsidize it. You could put together a gigantic paper that says exactly what you think with reliable sources on both sides of the aisle. We've now gone from where we grew up, where I grew up, which is, yeah, you just sound really convincing and you have barstool arguments about things and then you just argue about it. And then I guess eventually you find something else to argue about. Whereas now you have so much information that you can have factually proven arguments on both sides of the aisle in your hand, in the palm of your hand in seconds. I don't know that we're better for it.
In a bar.
With
while
alcohol,
they're all drinking.
with booze.
And what you have in your pocket is more technology than they had to go to the moon.
It's insane. Kevin on our Facebook page says 1997, when Annie got internet in the house. Isn't that the year of the big scandal involving plagiarism in Jurassic Park? It's terrifying, Kevin, that story has lived on. It is my darkest moment. And it wasn't 1997. That would have been 2000, probably 2000, 2001. I was in anatomy and physiology biology. It was an honors class my junior year. And newsflash, science ain't my thing. Like, my kids will be like, Mommy, what kind of animal is that? I'm like, that's a bird. Well, what kind of bird? That's a white bird. Ask your dad. I call my husband National Geographic because he knows all these things and he knows them in a way that he's so confident when he says, oh, that's a Western egret from the Netherlands, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're absolutely ridiculous. And then I'm on my phone and I Google, I'm like, oh, that is a Western egret. I just don't know how he knows these things.
How did it get over here from the Netherlands?
Yeah, you tell me that. I don't know. I just made up a bird. That's how non-science-based I am.
But he could tell you, though.
He could. It's really annoying. It grates at me. He has all of it's the wealth of information that gets put in your brain, and he has a very large National Geographic file folder. I don't know where he stores all this stuff.
You
or
know
why.
song lyrics, and he knows birds.
Yeah, and other animals. I just think it's interesting that we get to this point where all of this information exists, and we have it all right here, and it's you would think with more information we would understand each other more, right? You would think that if we had the information at our fingertips, that might bring us together. We would have less to fight about because we have the facts.
People are still people, and they're going to believe what they believe, and facts are not going to get in the way of that.
Yeah, it is really shocking. In 2000, it was like the night before a book report was due, and the book report had to do with something with science. And I mean, Jurassic Park is a totally plausible, science-based. I mean, it's evolution.
They found a mosquito.
Life finds a way. And I forgot to do the book report, so I went upstairs and looked in our library of books, and we had, is it Michael Crichton?
Yes.
Jurassic
See,
Park.
you remembered that?
Yeah. From Google. And I went in and I pulled the book off and I went down on my computer and there was this thing called Google. Nobody knew about Google. I barely knew about Google.
Did you know what Google was before Google was like one with 1,000,000 zeros behind it, and they stole that.
Yeah. Like, what's on page 3 of Google? Nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody knows the third page that you're searching. I go onto Google and I don't want to just like submit somebody else's book report. That would be cheating. I researched other book reports and collaborated them with some quotes from the book that I myself chose. And I put it in and I submitted it. I cheated. I had never done anything like that before. And when it came time to hand back those book reports, the teacher goes, she said something, Miss Gillespie, God rest, I love you and you were wonderful and I cheated and you busted me. And I still, in my 37 years of life, have guilt for it. But she's like, you students may not know that there is this thing about Google. And she basically took a paragraph from each of our book reports, threw it in Google, and saw what popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And there were like a dozen people in a class of maybe 20 who got busted. And we all got in trouble. I got a 0 on it. I ended up working that A and P grade up to maybe a high C, low B at the end. But I mean, it was like a 0 on a big thing. and I got a detention for it, and I still have guilt. I don't think I'll ever let that go.
One source, if you steal from it, is plagiarism. Several sources is research, but you still have to put the quotes. You still have to put the quotes around it.
Will you call her and advocate for me?
I thought you said she died.
No. I was going to say God rest her soul, and then halfway through, I'm like, well, that sounds like she's
I don't
dead.
know if she's dead.
No, she's not. She's alive and well and wonderful. But I totally got busted. And that was because my teacher was more technologically advanced than even I was at the time. And I thought if I was putting together, yes, it was a research paper. It was supposed to be a book reporter. I did a research paper. It was cheating.
You wish you had me to tell you this back then, don't you?
I needed you back then. I needed an agent to come and make me feel more comfortable. So, Carl, you've been here.
I have.
3 months.
Without you, we missed you.
Yeah, I know. I felt over the course of time, especially based on how much I tuned into what was going on in the news media to see what the stories were, because you kind of dip your toe in. It's less daunting when you don't have to like know everything about a story.
Talk about it for 3 hours.
Yes. I mean, it has been in the news cycle. It has been an intense 3 months. There have not been a lack of stories to discuss. And you've been all over the place on 97.1. So you've been covering
I filled in for you. I filled in with mornings, and I filled in with Reardon while you were gone.
So
and weekends and everywhere.
If anybody wants to know, Carl's been here. You filled in with Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan's going to come back in the studio here in the 2:00 hour.
Yes.
We've got some big announcements.
Yes.
And we're going to meet some people.
Yes.
But before Ryan comes in, you got a minute here. What was it like working with Ryan Wiggins?
It was easy.
Easy?
Yeah. He was like, we're just placeholders. Just remember that.
It's like, lower your expectations. All you got to do is keep us on the air for 3 hours.
He was easy to work with. And he was like, you know the show as well as I do, because you've worked here long. He and I probably have now worked here equal.
Yeah.
Even though.
Did he make a lot of really crazy demands of you? Did you have to keep his coffee at a specific temperature or anything like that?
No.
He's not as high maintenance with you?
Well, I'm going to be nice and say that he was a lovely person and a joy to work with.
Well, he is going to join us back in studio here in the 2:00 hour. This week, this show is going to evolve a little bit over the course of the week. We've got a lot of exciting things ahead for you, and we are going to tell you all about it, especially coming up next. I get to introduce somebody to you. If you've been watching the live stream on the Andy Frey YouTube channel or Facebook channel, you might have been tipped off already.
Wave.
Stick around. We'll be right back.
I'm gonna dream about the time when I'm with you.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Odyssey has sports for every fan. Keep up with your favorite teams from across the country and get the inside scoop from experts like Boomer Esiason, Jim Rome, and Tiki Barber. Odyssey brings you all the sports talk, interviews, game coverage, betting tips, and podcasts from the top personalities in sports like Mike Lombardi, John Heyman, and Nick Costos. AUDACY. Find all the sports that matter to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law. I've been talking to you about them for quite some time. You need that peace of mind, don't you? When it comes to, I'm going to be honest here, folks, it's a crazy time to be alive. We have a pandemic going on. Chances are questions have crossed your mind that maybe are uncomfortable, and you haven't had everything put in place that you need to feel a little bit more comfortable in what's going to happen when you're not here anymore. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, the wonderful people at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law can help you gain that peace of mind very easily. Free consultation when you call 636-946-7899. That's 636-946-7899. Call them and tell them I have nothing planned, or I had an estate plan put together 5 years ago, but my circumstances have changed. Maybe you have new people in your family. Maybe you have people who are in your family who are now out of your family. All of these circumstances need to be addressed. Laws change over time, and the experts at this are Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox at Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law. You can visit them online at beckelderlaw.com, but you can call them right now and mention the Andy Frey Show when you do. 636-946-7899. That's 636-946-7899. Find them online at beckelderlaw.com.
From the pitch swung a little too soon, to the joke told at the wrong time, to barely missing your connecting flight, timing is everything. The same can be true for your Social Security benefits. Take them too soon, and you could leave a lot of money on the table. Take them too late, and you might spend down too much of your savings. Everybody's situation is different, but taking your Social Security benefits at the right time is important for your retirement success. Heisey Advisory Group and our team understand Social Security and can help you make decisions that are best for you and your retirement dreams. Call Heisey Advisory Group today at 314-328-6000 to start optimizing your benefits. With Social Security, timing is everything, so don't delay. Call 314-328-6000. That's 314-328-6000.
IC Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A message from the Taliban's supreme leader, Elisa Brady. Fox News just getting word of his first statement since they took over Afghanistan. Malawi Akhundzada saying the Taliban is committed to all international laws, treaties, and commitments not in conflict with Islamic law, and that governance and life will be regulated by the laws of Sharia. This just hours after Secretary of State Antony Blinken offered reassurance as he holds meetings in Qatar on efforts to get more Americans and Afghan partners out of Afghanistan.
We're conducting a great deal of diplomacy on this as we speak. We've also been engaging with the Taliban on this topic, including in recent hours. They said that they will let people with travel documents freely depart. We will hold them to that. So will dozens of other countries.
A week-long standoff has left hundreds of would-be evacuees waiting to board charter flights. As President Biden tours damage from Ida in New York and New Jersey, the White House is asking Congress to approve billions more in funding, an additional $24 billion to handle the costs of Ida and other natural disasters. Lawsuits have already been filed over the bill signed today by Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Election integrity is now law in the state of Texas.
He says reforms will expand voting hours and make it harder to cheat. Democrats say it makes it harder to vote, ending pandemic measures, including 24-hour polling places and drive-through voting, also requiring ID for mail-in ballots. A mandate debate heats up in Arizona, where the state attorney general says it's not legal for Tucson to require COVID shots for city employees. This based on a state law that takes effect later this month, prohibiting local mandates. That decision gives the city 30 days to repeal the mandate or lose millions in state funding. America is listening to Fox News.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents Cry Macho, a story of being lost and found as Clint Eastwood returns as Mike Milo, a one-time rodeo star who then takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home from Mexico. The unlikely pair face a challenging journey. The only road home is through redemption. Now, you'll be able to see it in theaters and on HBO Max for 31 days, September the 17th. It's rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for kids under 13.
Nielsen says more than 30 million Americans watch Newsmax. It's the fourth highest rated cable news channel, and it's available on all major cable systems. Or find it on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and more. And it's free on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, and TiVo. Or download the Newsmax app on your smartphone. Watch it anytime, anywhere. Forbes described Newsmax as a news powerhouse. Millions of Americans are watching Newsmax. You should too. Tune in today.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We are ahead of a cool front this afternoon. That's why it's going to be a little windy from the south. Also on the warm side, 90 degrees for the high, partly to mostly sunny skies. Maybe a spot shower or thunder shower late in the day into the early evening. Otherwise tonight, partly cloudy and 60. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, great. Sunny and nice, comfortable, 80 to 85 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Hi,
This is Tracy with Acropolis Technology Group. This message today is for those of you married to a just good enough or a bad IT company, but are afraid to break up with them because of how messy the last breakup was. I'm here to tell you, Acropolis is a great second, third, or even fourth marriage. As you probably experienced, switching is a real pain when the company doesn't know what they're doing. The memory of the last change is a bad one, so you put up with your current IT relationship until something really bad happens, and then, unfortunately, it's too late. We've started onboardings when a switch has been planned for months or as quickly as a few hours due to an untimely departure. Call us today for a free second opinion, and we would be happy to show you what the last 25 years of experience has taught us. Breaking up is hard to do, but we make it easy. Let us show you how our protect, optimize, and grow strategy can help your business by visiting us on the web at acropolistech.com. That's acropolistech.com. We are employee-owned, and we are Acropolis Technology Group.
It's wonderful for me to be able to partner with people who support what we do on 97.1. But it's an even bigger honor for me to partner with people where 97.1 can support what they do. That's the Vitae Foundation. I'm so excited to be talking about them again here on, September 28th. I'm going to be emceeing the Vitae Foundation event where we are going to welcome Trey Gowdy at the Plaza Frontenac. You can go on to vitaefoundation.org to find out more information about that. But let me tell you a little bit about Vitae's mission. Especially now we've got the Texas law that, we're actually moving the ball down the field in order to protect the rights of the unborn. Vitae Foundation is fighting to protect the rights of the unborn while upholding the women who are in this situation by providing them with information, empowering them with information. Vitae Foundation is a wonderful organization that you can check out at vitaefoundation.org and find out all of the amazing work they're doing to put the power of real information, life-saving information, into the hands of women who right now legally have a choice. Support them. Consider checking out their events that are in the area. You will be very glad that you did. Find them online and learn more at vitaefoundation.org.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk. And in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcasts on Odyssey.com and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DH Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
It's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and I just hired CertaPro for another job. This time, it's restaining my deck. They took care of that about 3 years ago. It's time to do it again. But CertaPro can handle any painting job, interior or exterior. These are local painting crews, and each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They make the whole process so easy, and for me, the most important thing is I don't have to do the work. To schedule your free estimate, visit CertaPro.com or call 800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. CertaPro Painters for your home or business. Proven and trusted experts in painting.
Odyssey's going back to school, and we've got all the supplies you need, like A+ exclusive music stations and podcasts to help you or your student excel. Wake up and get the school day started with Acoustic Sunrise, the best mix of acoustic pop. Hit the books with Classical Odyssey, passionate classical music to help you focus while you study. Listen to essential school podcasts like Grammar Girls Quick and Dirty Tips for Better Writing, and be inspired with TED Talks Daily. Get back to school with new exclusive stations, plus all your favorite local radio stations and podcasts on Odyssey.
Classic rock, Christian, EDM, hip-hop, Odyssey exclusive music stations.
Every taste has a station.
Brought to you in part by Macy's, Geico, and Coke Zero Sugar on the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, River Views, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not married sweetheart.
This is The Annie Frey Show.
It's 2 p.m. and you're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Happy that you're here. And guess what, folks? Happy that I'm here as well. Annie Frey back from maternity leave. Somebody told me that I'm talking really fast. Am I talking exceptionally fast?
Yes.
I just have a lot to say. I
don't know. I don't think so. I think you're fine.
You think
you're talking a little bit fast for you.
For me.
But it's not like crazy fast. It's not like you're on fast forward.
No? Okay,
No.
good.
I'm with Carl on this one.
You are?
Yes.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are
I'm
you?
Brad.
What are you doing here?
I'm not really sure yet.
You're not literally.
Yeah.
Is this exciting for you, Ryan, to see Brad here? I mean, you know Brad.
So I know Brad, I don't know personally Brad, like from life, but I've met Brad several times because Brad has been a longtime listener of the show. And so we've talked kind of outside the show randomly about other things just because we've met in person through the show. So it is pretty weird to see you here because you're in a completely different role now.
Would you prefer he type everything out to you?
I would appreciate that.
Tweet.
Do you want me to just tap on the counter while I'm
I want
talking?
you to pretend you're writing everything to me, and I want you to wear that little pilot's helmet that's in your picture.
Oh man, I don't know if I don't still have that. I painted it. It was for a trivia night that we did, and it's a Captain America helmet from the first Avenger.
Yes.
So we had a theme night, and that was it. And so I was like, I'm gonna be Captain America. I mean, so from here up, I could pull it off. From here down, not so much.
I like that level of commitment to dressing up for things. Like, I wore a helmet, folks. What more do you want from me? That is my speed. Well, if you're just joining us now and you've been listening for a long time, we got Ryan Wiggins in here, who has not been on the show at 2 o'clock for the last couple of months, but has been holding down the fort in my absence while I was cuddling and snuggling the cutest baby ever, Molly, who is doing wonderful. Ryan has been helping out in a great capacity in the background, and we have a new executive producer of the show, and it is one Brad Range. I'm sure that if you followed us in any capacity online on the YouTube live stream, where you can go right now and watch the show and see Brad's handsome face in here, or if you watch us on Facebook, he's been there as well. But Brad Range is the new executive producer of the show, and I am so excited to welcome you, Brad. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about your experience with the show and, kind of what it's like to go from being a listener to standing here behind the microphone on the show right now. Like, talk to us, Brad.
Talk to you. Okay.
Talk to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was kind of ironic because I was a substitute teacher for a long time. And it kind of fills in the gaps in my life, right? I've always had jobs that work around me being a minister. And, so I was a substitute teacher, and I got assigned to the ACR room at the very beginning of the year because they didn't have
What's ACR?
Okay, so ACR. Do you remember in school suspension?
Well, yeah, I mean, not personally, just detention.
You
for
just
Jurassic
you just
Park
told me
report.
you got
detention.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was standard run of the mill detention. No ISS.
Okay,
let's calm down, Brad.
All right.
You're making my criminal history just like exponentially worse.
I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, I wasn't a good student, but
I had to write sentences in 6th grade. I'll tell you about that later.
On the chalkboard?
No, on a piece of paper.
Okay. So anyway, I was in ACR. ACR is in school suspension, but it was ACR, lunchroom, lunch detention, and the testing center, which is a terrible idea to put the testing center in the ACR room. But the first week of school, nobody has anything. They don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd listen to you on the radio and stuff like that when you were on weekends. And I was just cruising around the internet and on YouTube, and the Annie Frey Show popped up. And that's kind of where I started. A lot of those first interactions that we had were me sitting in an empty ACR room going, what am I going to do for 6 hours of my day?
Wow.
And so I started there and more interactive. And then whenever you would have an event, I think the first one I went to was a taxpayer revolt rally.
Yeah. We got the governor to ask to come, Governor Rauner. That lasted.
Yeah. That was,
I remember that.
That was
my first event too.
That was packed house.
It was fun actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so went there. The one thing that I remember from that is I got to let you guys know what was going on with the YouTube and why it wasn't getting out. And I was like, hey, you're set to private. You need to set this to public so that people can find it.
We know everything that we're doing here. We are experts.
And I'm going to be honest. I was heartbroken because I had nothing to get me through the day. And so like the school would end at 2:30. And so it's like the show would take me right up to the end. So once the show started, I knew I was like fast forward for the rest of the day because I wasn't just going to have to sit here and try to make my own fun. I could listen to you guys.
That's great.
And have fun.
Brad had nothing. He came from nothing. And then there was the Annie Frey Show, like a beacon of hope.
It's just like you listening in your Uber.
That's right. It's funny. Like as he's talking, it is pretty similar. Now, I had a background in radio. I was a DJ for 7 years, but coming into this room, you did a great job just now. Because I was super intimidated to walk into news.
Yeah, we were really hoping you'd fall flat on your face.
We were hoping you'd do terrible. It's much more fun. But you did great. And so I remember sitting right there probably 3 years ago now, roughly, and having a background in radio and being like, oh, I got this. This is fine. But walking in and being the content, because you got to think, when you're in music, you're just sort of like, you're the fringe person who's adding a little bit to the music, which is the main event. When you're in talk, you are the main event. That's it. And so Annie's doing her show. I think you were probably pretty new to doing the show at the time. And I walk in and I said something about, oh my gosh, did you see the news about JB Pritzker? And you're like, no, I'm watching 15,000 other things, but I didn't see that one. And so just live, you go, well, why don't you just report on it? Hey, Ryan, what's that thing about Pritzker? And I was like, some people in Chicago are suing him. That was it.
It's intense.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a weird thing to come in. So, Brad, about your background, you talked about being a substitute teacher. You're a minister.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about yourself. What do people need to know when you're popping in and out of here? You're going to have a lot of things to do, which you're soaking in here each minute. But who are you, and what's important to Brad Range?
What's important to Brad Range? Well, now I get to talk about myself some more, so this is right up my alley.
Amen. No, you know the answers to these questions.
So I don't know. I'm like I like to talk about myself, but like Ryan was saying, he goes, you'd be intimidated to come in here. Well, yeah, but I actually kind of, after standing in here and watching all this to me is the easy part. Talking to you guys is the easy part. Watching Carl do his thing on the board with all the editing and buttons and all the guys, there's way more behind the stuff than you guys ever get to see if you're watching on the stream or you ever get to hear. And it's a lot to take in. But I was born in Illinois, raised in Illinois. I've never moved out of Illinois. Kind of grew up on a farm. Not kind of. I definitely grew up on a farm, tractors and all that other stuff. And I know you were on a farm, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a centennial family, generational farm. And I have to say, we own the land. I don't own any of that land, but my family owns the land and rents it out. So it's still farmed. But I mean, we don't have like cattle or anything.
Yeah. Well, my dad still has cattle.
That's awesome.
But I mean, it's only like 3, and then we get that for Christmas.
Amen. That's a good gift.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
You don't raise cattle for fun.
Well, I know that some,
if you do, you're doing it wrong.
Really, some small farmers, they won't eat. They get so attached to the cattle and they're like pets. They won't kill them.
We name them after different cuts of meat.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
So, everybody's.
And this here is mignon.
Yeah, mignon, ribeye. We keep them in. We keep it in perspective of what they farm. But so grew up on a farm. Moved around a little bit in Illinois, but never really too far. Always lived probably within 30 miles of the same spot. And I kind of forgot where I'm at. But
it's just interesting to me, some of the background that you have and how your connection. One of the reasons why I was really excited to, gauge your interest in taking on this position is because you understand the show. And you've been listening to it for a while. And you talked about sitting there. And there are a lot of people who we keep company for 3 hours a day at work. And you help people inch through their afternoon. And my goal is always to keep you informed about what's important, but make it so that at the end of our show, when we hand it over to Mark Reardon, that you're not wound so tight that you need to I want to be your stress relief. I think you can be informed and entertained and exhale at the same time. And it's been great to, build a relationship with Brad. I trusted Brad. I don't know when I asked you to supervise the YouTube, was that like a year ago?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe more.
I'd met Brad multiple times and he was on the YouTube almost every day. And just to help monitor that, you have a very, what I would think of as level-headed approach to a lot of things. As you've listened to the Annie Frey show, what is your impression of what we do here that made you want to take this risk where you're shifting from an industry that isn't radio into you're taking in this radio thing? The show.
Yeah.
The content, but the radio responsibility, that's new to you.
Yeah. What made me want to be part of this is to be part of something big. Any chance that I get to help people, expand into people's lives, enrich their lives, entertain people. I like to make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably one of the biggest things. To be part of something bigger than just myself is always good. And all of the jobs that I've ever had, the ones that give me the most joy are the ones where I get to enrich other people's lives and be part of something bigger and work together as a team. And that's kind of really what got me interested in doing this. And to be honest with you, radio never came up on my radar, never popped up. But here we are. And I'm looking forward to helping out and being a part of this show and taking it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm so excited about it. When I talked to Brad after his interview, it was a little while after it, and I said, are you sure you still want to do this? And his response was, it's not every day you get to be a part of something amazing. And I just thought, this is good. This is the direction we need to head in, because there's so many things that, while Brad may not have done the technical things that are radio producer based, knowing what I know about him and your background, a lot of things that we haven't talked about here, the ability to expand what we're doing in a way that we've never been able to expand before is really exciting. Ryan, when you've been manning this ship in my absence, I mean, we do a lot of things during the show. There are a lot of moving parts. And when you're hosting the show, it's different than doing what you're doing right now, which is, jumping in and dialoguing or whatever. It's really important to have somebody who A, gets it, and B, is a problem solver and works hard. And I'm really excited that Brad is going to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's a good reminder, I think, that we get lost. Probably this is going to be fresh for you, and we got a bunch of questions for you. We'll do that in a minute, right? We're going to ask you just questions about being gone and about news and stuff. But have you noticed since being back for one day, not even one full show yet, that
this is very fresh
you get to reflect on, kind of like what Brad was just saying, that the job that you have is pretty unique and rare and a blessing?
Oh my gosh.
Because it gets lost in the daily, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, when you have an outlet to speak on these things, that's where, for me, it becomes very important to not use this platform for me. I get to speak on these issues. You're listening right now in your car, or you're listening at your desk or in your substitute teaching classroom or whatever it is. You've welcomed us into your day. That is a gift from you to me that I can never take advantage of, even though I have the ability to speak. So I know that when I'm speaking, I'm pushing a conversation out into the world, but it can't just be a one-person conversation. That's not a conversation. That's a lecture. There's a lot
and that's what I did.
And that's why Ryan Wiggins is not. Yeah, no, not at all. But there is a ton of that out there right now. You can go, don't do it. You can go multiple places and get lectured at about what you're supposed to think or why this is the worst thing that's happened today. And it's like breathing fire in your face. I can do that too. I'll be tempted to do that from time to time. Sometimes I might even do it. But what we get to do, we are blessed that we get to do this, is to have a conversation about things that matter. And sometimes the things that matter aren't the most serious things. Sometimes they are. We get to have that conversation, and it is a blessing that I realize when I'm not here that I get to do. And to be able to welcome Ryan in here, and to have Brad in here, and Carl in here, and some more people who are going to be coming in here that we're going to introduce you to throughout the course of the week. This show has gotten a lot bigger in the last 3 months in my absence. I've been a part of more conversations than I cared to in the last 3 months to make it a bigger and better show than it's ever been. And Brad is going to be foundational in that. And so I want you to give him a wonderful, big welcome. Come on to the YouTube page, the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We're streaming live there. We're streaming live on the Facebook.com/Annie Frey Show page. Welcome, Brad. And Ryan, as you said, we are going to do, kind of for the rest of the show, a fun conversation, and ask me anything. You can ask me anything about, I have had conversations about, what do people want to hear from me? Do you just want to hear about like Molly's eat, drink, poop schedule? Or do you want to hear what I think about a specific political issue? Get on there, ask a question in the chat. Ryan says he's got some questions. Brad and Carl might have some questions as well, and I'll answer all of them. And we will relax a little bit here for the rest of the show. Thank you for being with us. You can stream us on the Odyssey app as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I shall lay truth bare based on the questions that you all ask me. Don't go away. Back in a minute.
Every day is a fading sign.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. This is The Annie Frey Show.
Want your shot at winning 10 grand? Then you need to become a Missouri VIP. Missouri's vaccination incentive program is here. And a total of 900 vaccinated Missourians over the age of 12 will win $10,000 in 5 random drawings from August to October. To enter with the secure online form and see a complete list of rules, visit mostopscovid.com/win today. Get vaccinated and get your shot at winning 10 grand.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Amoso Properties. Do you have a rental property, but you're unhappy with your current property manager? Are you managing your rental property yourself, but you're just sick of all the headaches? Call Amoso Properties. They use cutting-edge technology to keep you completely updated all the time. Call Joe, the owner, at 636-757-3406 or go to amosoproperties.net. That's AMOSO properties.net.
Have you got a sweet tooth? Hi there, Ryan Fritz with Fritz's Frozen Custard. Did you know at Fritz's, we offer a different flavor of the day each day of the week? With flavors like peanut butter cookie dough, coffee toffee, and yellow cake batter, your next favorite flavor is just a day away. Visit one of our 5 locations and pick up a quart of your favorite flavor for the entire family to try. We look forward to seeing you and your family at Fritz's.
It's the best stuff in town, so you better get around. Fritz's Frozen Custard. Yeah!
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Yo,
this is the Annie Frey Show.
Shake that body.
So, in my absence, Ryan, how much 90s techno did you play? You're moving. You're moving right now. You're grooving.
Oh yeah, I'm shaking that body because the song told me I had to. But I think
I couldn't say no. I panicked.
We played whatever you normally played. I didn't change.
And
anything.
why is that, Ryan?
Because
There's a
every
lot of
time I
rules.
tried, it would get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube because I was playing stuff that apparently is right in line with their no tolerance policy every day. And I get a text from you after the show. Hey,
How
you play
does she
some
know
different
these
music.
things?
Yes,
They would send it
we tried.
right to you. They'd
I
send
got
you
the
an
email.
Yes.
Yeah, you got me on YouTube, not only a warning, but a strike. And
you
I am
kicked
in feeling the same type of judgment that I felt when I plagiarized that Jurassic Park book report until like November. I'm in YouTube yellow
So
zone.
we're back though. We're not
we're
off
streaming
YouTube.
right now.
Okay, because we were for a while. We were completely off.
I know.
That was my
We
fault.
had to sit out for a week. And I told Ryan, like, maybe I just sit out YouTube until I get back.
He
that's
actually
fine.
was
That's fine with
really
that.
looking forward to it. And you're like, oh, I can play some of the songs I like. And then he did.
And, yeah, I did. It lasted for about 2 days, and then we got flagged.
Let's go back to Annie's.
Let's go back to Shake That Body.
Let's do this thing. Let's get to it.
If you have anything to ask me, just go ahead.
I want the truth.
Say it.
Thank you for your honesty.
You can't handle the truth. And the truth shall set you free.
A reminder, you can ask your questions of me. What do you want to know? I could tell you things that I think you want to know, but you probably don't. So you can come onto the YouTube channel that thankfully I cut Ryan off from so you can watch it on YouTube right now. So
just my voice might set it off, though.
Oh, there's Ryan Wiggins again. Drop the hammer. And the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. And we're on Twitch. I think my name on Twitch is Annie Frey Show. It's just something I'm trying. You people who are saying, what's Twitch? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we don't know either.
YouTube, you've heard of that. All right, Ryan, what do you got? You said you have questions for me.
I do. I want to know.
Slightly terrifying.
Because what happened was in August, I was doing the beginning of your show for a week, and then Afghanistan happened. And it was pretty much, I wasn't going to move from that. Nobody was for a while, but I didn't want to move until we knew all Americans were out, and we still don't know.
Yeah.
So what was the big story for you this summer? Was that it? Was there another one that you were just like, oh my gosh, I am losing my mind over this? Or was there a story like that?
The Afghanistan situation was the one thing that made me have the news on purposely.
Yeah.
If I was watching the news, so if you are tuning in to 97.1 for the first time, welcome. We're so glad you're here. If you've been a listener of the Annie Frey Show for a while, today's my first day back from maternity leave. I haven't been here.
What?
It's been a while.
And you haven't been in the studio.
In 18 months, I haven't been in the studio, and I'm here. And like, is it like riding a bicycle? Yeah, but there's some wobbliness to it that I'm working the kinks out of that.
I guarantee there are some people who tune in the 2:00 hour who are like, Dana sounds different today.
Yeah.
It's not Dana.
I'll let that go. So I saw, like, I still get news alerts on my phone. And so I would know. And it's funny when I don't have to care. I don't care about some things that I should care about if I'm doing this. So that's my reference to being a civilian. I've been like you driving in your car right now or listening on the Odyssey stream. I've been able to care when I want to. I've been able to not care for days or weeks if I didn't want to. The Afghanistan situation is jaw-dropping.
Yes.
And this has been my perspective. Like, I can't give you a dissertation about what happened in Afghanistan because I haven't been that close to the issue every step of the way, which is now my job. I'm back in the saddle, and there will be times where you'll be like, no, Annie, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, I did not know that. I'm sorry. Did that happen in July? As I was watching the news alerts come in, it was jaw-dropping. And I would look at this and go, it can't be this bad. This is the Fox News alert. Let me check the other places. And I'm tuning into other places, and Chris Cuomo is being a little critical. And I'm seeing Jake Tapper say after Biden's first speech, the president said the buck stops here, but he just went on an entire, I'm paraphrasing, blame train of and I'm going, wow, whoa, this is show stopping for me. And every step of the way, I'm waiting for the media to recoil back into, we got to protect President Biden. We got to protect him. The alternative, there are polls out right now. Ryan.
Yes, there are.
Don't stop. Put your mouse down. Do not Google. He's Googling. He's Googling polls.
Talking.
Said the P word.
I'm there.
He is. There are polls out there right now that say that Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden in an election. And some people would say, and I know a few of you, that there are elections that say that Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not going down that road. But the closer we get to putting Trump back into the actual narrative, the more I feel like the mainstream media is going to pull back and go, no, this is too important. We've got to protect Joe Biden. And other than the way far gone sycophants that I wouldn't even tune, I'm interested to see what Jake Tapper has to say. I'm interested to see what Chris Cuomo has to say, because I think if anybody has the confidence to be able to be critical with their audience, it's probably folks like them. And I'm still seeing some I don't like have hope for the mainstream media, but I just think that is a measure of how bad it is.
Yeah, they've mostly moved on now. Last Tuesday was kind of Joe Biden's victory lap speech. Well, we got the job done, which has been remarkable to watch. I mean, it has been like you're watching some sort of weird reality TV show, not just what's happening on the ground in Afghanistan, but the administration's response to their own chaos that they've caused. That's been really amazing to watch them all, including the Pentagon, try to spin this thing when every single one of them, and especially all the people under them, totally disagree with them, and you know it.
Mhm.
They're just doing this when they're on TV, and then I think they step off of the podium, off the camera, and then they immediately disagree with what they just said because they know they just had to say that.
I really do believe that the most compelling part of this story is how the story has been managed. There's what happened, and there's always what actually happened. But it's spoon-fed to you so that you get something out of it that they want you to get out, which is why the media is the biggest problem that we have in the United States today. The political parties on both sides of the aisle will play the puppeteer, pull the strings so that, you know, the conservative talk show radio hosts say A, B, C, and D, and then that gets out there. And are there liberal talk show hosts? They're probably
on
out there
TV,
somewhere.
not on the radio.
They go out there and they say they're A, B, C, and D. And then all you have to do is tune into Twitter and see the righties are saying this and the lefties are saying that. And what really happened actually exists. The truth is out there, but you don't know what it is because the story is being managed on both sides of the aisle. It has been crazy to me to see the Biden administration just repeat ad nauseum that they got the job done.
Yes.
And with the real honest belief that we'll all go, yeah, well, good job. That was great. He said he got the job done.
Yeah.
Slow clap. And we're all just that dumb. We are not as stupid as they need us to be. I will repeat that over and over and over again. It's amazing to watch. You got any more questions?
Well, do you even remember what the early summer was like? Like, were there? I honestly, somebody asked me the other day, oh, aside from Afghanistan, you know, what do you think Annie's going to be talking about? I said, I really don't. I don't even remember, because it's been, in a strange way, the early part of the summer was kind of slow, because as you recall, we kind of talked about this, like HR1, some of the big spending stuff. It all kind of stalled, like DC statehood, court stuff, packing the courts. It was a bunch of big ideas, and none of it went anywhere. And so I don't really remember, aside from maybe like some of the Anthony Fauci stuff from the early summer. Is there anything that stands out to you?
No.
Otherwise?
No.
Yeah.
That's what I think is so important as a show host, is to remember that you're living your life right now. You have things going on in your life. My last 90 days, I feel like I have lived decades. To think back to the day that I delivered Molly, I was a different person. So many things in the world have transpired. There have been incredibly impactful moments in my life that have transpired, notwithstanding the birth of my fourth child. I cannot stress enough, and some of these things I'll talk about at some point on the air when the time is right, and some of them I won't. But I have gone through some things in the last 3 months that have sucker punched my perspective on life. And I'm going to the Need to Breathe concert tonight, so if any of y'all are there, hi.
Where's that?
St. Louis Music Park. That's not the amphitheater, right?
No, it's the Centene Ice Center.
Yes.
I don't even know what that is.
So
okay, good.
So
Good.
it's next to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater.
It's good because that's what the map said.
On the way to the casino.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where the Blues practice.
Sweet.
But during the summer,
Do I have to bring my skates?
no, on
Okay,
the in the
I don't have any.
you have 2 rinks on the inside,
Mhm.
and the outdoor rink during the summer, they have concerts.
Is it cool? It sounds cool.
It is nice.
So going to this, and there is a song on their new album. I love Need to Breathe. They're a band that does Christian music, but they're not a Christian band, I would say.
Yeah, coming from Christian music, they kind of exist on the fringe of
Mhm.
popular Christian music. They kind of are their own thing, but they get played on the radio.
They live in a world of faith-based.
Yeah.
Like they are a foundationally faith-based band, but their music is not. You're not going to get
they
Jesus.
opened for Taylor Swift, for instance.
Oh, they did?
Most Christian bands don't get to do that.
I hear you talk about Taylor Swift at all. I don't know what it means, but it's in my Twitter feed.
Let's not do that.
Oh, no.
I don't know. But anyway, there's this line in this song that they have on their new album, and it says, "I forgot what good is outside my window. Ain't that the way the story goes?" And it I was listening to the album because I wanted to know all the songs before I went to the concert. And that landed in my life at the perfect time, which was we get so focused on the Afghanistan story. If you are somebody who served in Afghanistan, served anywhere in the last 20 years, if you are somebody who has had a son or a daughter or a spouse or a parent who has served and you see what's going on, your worldview starts to close in. And you focus in on this thing that, you key in on it. And that thing starts to expand in your life. And if you forget to shift your perspective off of that thing for a second, it can start to take over. And when it starts to take over, it can push you down. And when the moment strikes where you look out your own window and you see the good that is there, going back to what Jim Carafano was saying, which I highly recommend you check out that interview on the podcast, which you can get anywhere you get podcasts.
Or the rewind.
Yes. And you listen to him talk about those headstones that are in Arlington and how none of them have wins and losses on them. The fact that they are there is the biggest win that the United States of America can have, because we have these people who give something, the most precious thing, life, for what we are doing here in the United States. There's something special here that people are willing to sacrifice. They sign up, they volunteer. You look at what's going on in the world right now, and that view can become dark. It can become overwhelming. And it doesn't have to be something so huge like that we all can agree on. We have people in our families who are sick. We have jobs that we have that are lost. We have family or friends that move out of our lives. We have, just trepidation about fears and things that we don't know how they're going to end. And there's this moment sometimes where life smacks you in the face and tells you to check your own window. There's a lot of good out there. And when you get that perspective served to you, just open the window wide and let that good come in. And I've had to really work on that, and it came to me at the right time, and it didn't come to me until a few weeks ago. And I think the craziest thing about it is that perspective usually comes at your lowest points. And I'll say as a Christian too, for me personally, I know not everybody listening is a Christian, but this is where I come from. It's funny to me that for me, if I pray about things or if I go to my faith about something that is tearing my heart apart, that's when I get the relief. And why is it always the last resort? Why is it always the last place to go? I hope that if that is something that has been pushing on your life, that look outside your own window and see the good, because the sun is shining. And I mean that. Let's take a quick break. I see questions coming in on the YouTube live. I see questions coming in on the Facebook live. Ryan and Brad and Carl can ask some more questions when we come back. We're almost done here. This is it, Brad. Did this go fast enough for you?
Yep, plenty fast.
Fast enough for you?
Oh my gosh, it's a whirlwind.
Are you ready for everybody to leave and you to take over tomorrow?
No.
No.
This is a great show. I don't want to do that.
Let's stick around. More questions about my time away and you on the live stream, listening on 97.1 FM Talk. I am so glad you're here. I am so glad to be back. We'll be right back.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 52 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
LakesideRenovation.com. That's the place you go when you are looking for someone to take care of that project that is at your house. Now, they do a ton of things inside and outside, but they are the trusted name for full-scale remodels inside your house, outside your house. You can call Lakeside and know that you're getting the very best that the St. Louis metro area has to offer, both sides of the river. They'll come help you out with your project. You'll be so glad you called them at 636-978-5000. That's 636-978-5000. Let's talk about your kitchen remodel or your basement or bathroom remodel. They can help you execute exactly what you want. Or if you know that what you're looking at right now in your house is, hideous, like my countertops are right now in my kitchen, I can't wait to replace them.
You can go to them and say, I don't like what I have right now, but what are my options? And they will set you up with some of the best designers in the business. You can find them at Lakeside Renovation and Design. They employ over 100 of the very best local, your neighbors, the very best people in the area who are going to come into your home, people who they trust to do project after project after project, the very best at Lakeside Renovation and Design. Find them online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
Warm weather's a great time to train a new puppy. Mark Cox here from my friends at Petland in Lake St. Louis. They've got the puppies. If you've had a hard time finding one, go to petlandstl.com or just pay them a visit. 6131 Ronald Reagan Drive out in Lake St. Louis. Puppies have been hard to come by, but the owners, Tom and Jeff, have amazing relationships. They can offer the best selection of puppies in Missouri. Again, 636-695-4503, petlandstl.com.
Hi, this is Ken. And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
The Dave Glover Show is still on 97.1. It's the best of each day after the Mark Reardon Show from 3 to 6. The DGS Highlight Hour, 6 to 7. Weekdays on 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. This is The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy that you're here. Happy that I'm here. I love seeing all of these questions coming in on the Facebook Live, the YouTube Live. I think I'm going to have to do, I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm going to have to do an off-air live where I can interact with this. Brad, you're going to be a part of that when I do that.
I'm all in.
Don't give thumbs up on the radio.
Yeah, that's right. I said something.
Yeah, you did.
Got there.
You were good. You landed. All right, Carl, you said you had a question.
I do. So, do we need to play the theme again? Or are we just done with that? Good.
Let's just rock and roll into this.
How was it taking a newborn to Disney World?
You just outed me.
You put up pictures, though.
On my private media.
I have a better question. What was it like leaving your newborn with an au pair while you went to Disney World?
Expensive on many fronts. Yeah, we did. We went to Disney and it was great. Had mom and dad with me. So when you can take grandparents along with you, you can accommodate situations a lot better. And took some family members, my niece and nephew as well, and their family. And it's just a different pace. And it was amazing. I mean, it was
stopping in the middle of the day, taking a nap.
For
her,
it's
maybe
just,
you.
It's just one of those things where you just I mean, everything is different when you have a newborn. Everything is slower. There's less of everything. And the moment that you give up your expectation that it's going to be any different, you're just way better off. That's just kind of the way Disney was.
Okay.
Just relaxed and comfortable, and for me, a good getaway from and shifting of pace.
All right. Well, I didn't mean to out you. I
No, it's
thought
okay.
it was public knowledge.
It is now.
And everyone knew that, of course, Annie went to Disney. She had 12 weeks off.
Yeah, she was there for 12 weeks.
I wish. I'm going to take some vacation right now, Steve.
I've got one for you from the Facebook page. You ready for this one?
I am.
It's a big one.
Who's it from?
From Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Now, think real carefully before you answer this, because it's so big and your answer will determine a lot of things for a lot of people here.
Oh.
Annie.
It's a lot of pressure.
Will it get better or worse for our country? Because when you say yes or no, that's what's going to happen.
I think, going back to what I was saying, that's not how it works. I think that things tend to have to get worse for them to get better. I am a 2-time Trump voter. I am a Trump supporter in the context of Trump versus Biden twice on Sunday, folks, like any good Illinois voter. I am yeah. When I die, don't let me vote Democrat. I think it's going to get bad. I do. But I also think, let's talk about college football for a second. If you paid any attention to college football, we are in D. Did you watch Notre Dame, Brad?
I tried to.
What do you mean you tried to?
I tried to. Well, the NASCAR race was on, and I'm going back and forth between that.
We had Brad come on so we could have a NASCAR correspondent.
I don't know anything
I don't
about
care
it.
about any of this.
Is it that now? I mean, I can do that.
Also, we're getting ready for the show earlier. Brad Range is our new executive producer. So excited to have him here. We're getting ready. He's like, you have some lipstick on your forehead. And I'm like, you are a fantastic executive producer. That is spot
I didn't
on.
even notice that.
And then Carl just told me I had lipstick on my teeth. So
okay.
I said to my boss, Steve, earlier, I'm like, this mask wearing thing in the office is discriminatory towards women. Because how am I supposed to wear lipstick in this place?
That's why I don't wear any.
Yeah. Did you stop doing
Lipstick
that?
or a mask?
He cannot answer that question.
No, I'm doing what you do. I'm just doing things like this.
Thumbs up,
Up,
thumbs
down.
down. I think that if you look at college football, stadiums were packed. Tens of thousands of people jumping into each other. Wisconsin, the jump around thing,
Oh,
Wisconsin, like packed. They have chosen to stop not living their lives. That doesn't mean that anything is real or not real. They're making decisions on their own and things are going to happen. Guess what? It's always been a risk to go be in that crowd.
One of the things that I was looking at, because the first college football stadium full that I saw was at Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always interesting. Like, I think Barstool's tweeted it out. That's the one that I retweeted. And I looked at it and people, let's see what's the comments say. Let's see what people are saying. Split 50-50. This is the end of the world. This is the best thing ever. And I think people lose perspective. I that made me go look and say, well, what is the vaccination status of we've talked about that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Are they mandated? What's the deal? Well, I went to Virginia Tech's website. Sure enough, vaccines are mandated amongst students and highly recommended amongst staff.
Mm-hmm.
So do we believe the science or do we not believe the science? What's the deal here? And at some point, let's get going. Let's move on,
Yeah.
So,
and I think, to me, the thing that I want to push out there is that people are starting to actively make their own decisions that will have a ripple effect. And I think that we are very close to being in an intense election season. Folks, do not sit on an opportunity to get involved in some campaign near you. The House of Representatives taking that away from Nancy Pelosi has never been more important. Hey folks, there's a Senate race right now in the state of Illinois. Tammy Duckworth is up. Tammy Duckworth is probably safe, but know who's running. Be active. Be participatory. Donate in something you believe in, not something someone else tells you to, but be active. I think that I see people waking up to the world we're in right now more than I have in a long time, which in the end, I think will result in goodness.
I do too. I was thinking that on the way in. I was seeing ads. I may have actually seen a Need to Breathe concert ad or a concert ad for somebody and was thinking, you know what? This is a little bit closer to where we probably should have been with COVID the whole time. It's not exactly where we should be yet, but nothing's closed. At least we've gotten to the place where people are still doing things. The restaurants aren't all closed. Businesses aren't closed. This seems like maybe where we should have lived before, where, yeah, we're being a little bit more careful. I don't really dig the mask thing, but that's a debate to have separately. But it does feel like maybe we're getting a little bit of sanity back on that front.
I also think, specifically in the last 90 days of my life, being off the air and not being so steeped in what everyone's telling you to do, I'm very rooted on both sides of this issue. Please do not make any medical decisions for yourself based on what a politician says or a pundit. If we were in a position to listen to our own medical advisors, the people who say, I'm going to write you a script for this and you need to take this every morning at 10 a.m. You don't research that. You say, thanks, doc, and then you take it because it's their job, their sworn oath to provide the best care for you. Dr. Fauci doesn't see me at an annual visit. Why we didn't, from the jump, encourage people to consult their own medical advisors to provide the information, you can ask because Ryan, your situation is incredibly different than mine. I was pregnant for the majority of this. My situation then is different than my situation right now. Brad and Carl, we all have different circumstances that make the medical advice that needs to be told to us incredibly different, even when the final advisement to all of us might be the same from all of our medical staff. The final result of that might be congruent in all of our conversations, but the way you get there and your concerns and my concerns, they're different. And that personal relationships, some might say it should be between a doctor and the patient, what kind of decisions you make for your body, but we haven't done that. It's been this top-down, government knows best. Anybody who tells you different or suggests something different is not allowed to say it. Like, how are we supposed to talk about the things that aren't good for us without being able to have the conversation? And you only institute doubt in everybody, which I think has caused more loss of life because people are making decisions based on what a talking head says on the television. Even if their own medical provider says, I think you should do this, you don't trust those people. That is frightening.
Yeah, one really bad long-term consequence to this is that we have eroded trust in our own institutions more than ever. Because it used to be that usually the medical ones, CDC, they were off limits, right? They're not going to be politicized. The WHO, whatever that was, because we didn't know at the time, or the FDA, especially, man, that one, you could trust that one. They really go through the process. But even it looks more and more like they moved up their timeline to put out the approval of Pfizer a couple weeks earlier than they even said they were. That kind of stuff could be on the level, but it just looks bad and it erodes trust in institutions. And that's a long-term consequence.
And one of the biggest thing that I see in my own personal life is that all of these people who have so much doubt on both sides of the aisle, they're all well-intended people. They all want to do what's best. They want truth, and they know that they can't get it from anywhere, which is why I think the most hypocritical thing that I could do is come on, like, if I got the vaccine or if I didn't get the vaccine, if I tell you where I am on that spectrum, that shouldn't sway whether you get it or not, because that's me. That's not you. My job is not to provide you medical advice. And wading into that issue, it's why we've had Dr. Hardiman on so much before I left. And Dr. Hardiman will be on for 2 segments tomorrow, which I'm very excited about.
Me too.
Yeah. So that's going to be in the 1:00 hour. And we're going to take questions from the listeners, as we always have. I want to provide you info, and then you do you, folks. I've made decisions for me. We've all made decisions for ourselves in this room, and you are no different. Truth is very hard to find. And if we can find places to be able to provide that to people and not pressure them into something because of some political poker chip to be gained, that's where we get back to where we should be. And it's going to be a hard thing. How'd I do? It's 3.
I thought you did great.
Steve, I'm still on the air. Can I come back tomorrow, guys? Ryan?
We'll talk about it.
I feel like if you don't come back, I won't be able to come back. So
Brad Range, new executive producer. So happy to have you here. Mark Reardon coming up next.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell